And welcome back to Wild Beyond the Witchlight, the Carnival cards. And last session, we had everyone grouping up, finally ready to perhaps storm the towers and take over Enderlin's castle. But then you were suddenly beset by a strange carnival-like wagon. It was a pageant wagon, and a dark figure seemed to lead it. And as they drew the curtains, they began to animate small little puppets, well, specifically wooden marionettes, each one of them resembling your characters. And they played out a scene where it seemed as though they had been spying on you. You watched as you gathered each of the Korod clans and formed a army effectively. But as you rose up to the Lockberry Henge and began perhaps the actual assault, a looming figure of Endelyn Moongrave appeared over the top of the strings. Equipped with a pair of rusty iron scissors, she snipped the strings and all the marionettes came clattering to a pile. Almost felt like a warning, as if what you was about to do would potentially lead to repercussions. And after this little show had concluded, the dark figure handed you an envelope. Doing the wax seal with the scissory looking stamp, you found invitations. Each one of them had a little picture of the marionette cartoon of yourself, and everyone was invited by name except for Gleam. And this was an invitation for one audience, basically. So, an audience with Endelyn Moongrave, specifically no strings attached. Now, whether you wanted to take this or not, you had to really discuss with the full party. There was lots of options to weigh and who was going to go where. And in the end, you decided to send half the party and stick with the original plan, send them into the mine where the Briganox had carved out a tunnel that hopefully leads right um, into Motherhorn. And the others, you guys, in other words, set off to actually accept this invitation. That's even if you don't end up making a bargain with her, at the very least you can acquire a lot of information going in the interior, speaking with her with Bitter End herself. You might be able to judge where you can strike or pick up some, I don't know, just some information. So as you were heading that direction, you began to get lost within the winding canyons, the twisting mountains, and switchbacks. You had a heading, the lightning that streaks and arcs over the dark clouds pointed you in the direction of Motherhorn, and specifically the Orae of Tragedies. But there was some passages which were just completely blocked off. You had to backtrack, wind around a different way, and as you were coming around that mountain, you found a flash of lightning illuminating a distant throne made of stone. And this is one that has been appearing again and again in Xaxx's visions. Every time he's been struck by lightning, he's had a flash of this. And the last one was of some sort of constellation, a pattern that was only briefly there, but even now, as you began to approach, you could feel a sense of destiny. There was this eye of the storm effect in the clouds that were basically pointing you in this direction. And before you went up there, everyone wanted to just take take a long rest and recuperate before any potential threats. But Xaxx, you felt that calling deep in your heart, and instead decided to try and approach this alone and achieve whatever this means on your own steam. If it wasn't for a good elvish hearing, you probably would have pulled it off going alone. But Solomon is there to have your back, and he actually helped with reading some inscriptions. The actual throne itself had Elvish on it, and I think, did we ever get to translate that, or did we kind of like gloss over that?
I think we did translate, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Okay, we did. Okay, but Let's find it actually, real quick. So I want to remind myself as well. It is. Yeah, yes. Okay. So it said, I am the traveler from a distant land. My name is Mazakoth, Keeper of Stars. Sit on my throne, disciple, and unravel, was what it said in Elvish. That was probably what you have been deciphering this entire time, Solomon, whilst waiting for Xaxx to return, because you found another different puzzle, Xaxx. This one matching the constellations in a certain pattern, going from Queen to the spilled wine, the cup, back to the marksman, following the arrow across the sky to find who sleeps below the harp, and then you ended your search with love. And as soon as you marked this pattern with the telescope, the throne lit up with a draconic shaped constellation. And as soon as you sat on the throne, you felt yourself being whisked away. There was a brilliant flash of light that blinded Solomon, and as his eyes began to adjust back, he, along with the 8 elks, had vanished, seemingly whisked away to another distant star. But when you appeared in this realm, something just wasn't quite right. You found the slumbering dragon uh,
Right.
with this moon scale pattern. There was these strange gems of different varying colors, almost like a prismatic arcing rainbow, all kind of drawing towards the center. And as you were taking in these sights, that's when a creature from the beyond with writhing tentacles and eye stalks appeared. Its central eye locked on you, and as it opened up its mouth of pointed teeth, it spoke in this kind of dark, chittering language, almost like psychically connecting to your mind, and said, "What have you brought me? And what items have you to offer?" And you began to sort of root around. You could see that it was focused in on perhaps like your ring, and it was a fitting distraction for at least a few minutes while you tried to decipher what these gems did. And you figured there was sort of some sort of suppressing effect. And when you interrupted them, the dragon began to sort of stir. And as you tried to smash one with your dagger, that's when the creature turned on you and began to fire off its deadly rays. Thankfully, the elk army took quite the brunt. They even delivered a punishment to it, leaping off the balcony, slamming their antlers into this creature. It had to retreat up into the air. And as it was raining down rays, you and the elks managed to smash and shatter each and every one of these gems, finally awakening this dragon from their sleep. And the only elk left is the one that Tanwen was controlling. They're sort of still sleeping as well, just briefly, but you can see they're sort of coming to. And this dragon is looking around, and they probably spot the elk before anything else. And they slowly begin to sort of nudge the elk awake. The elk kind of looks around a little bit sluggish, a little bit confused, and yeah, this uh, beautiful dragon has just sort of stirred. They are almost graceful and elegant in motion. The opalescent scales kind of shimmer in this starlit realm, and the ruffs of emerald green fur run all the way down their chin, chest, and back, and all the way to the tips of their tail. And that singular horn that the magic was arcing to is sort of shaped in a crescent, almost like a moon-like crescent shape. Um, yeah, I have some more art for it. You can see what I'm talking about there.
Hmm. Uh, hello.
Am I truly awake, or is this just another dream? A dream within a dream?
That's a good question. I do know I broke the gems that were, I guess, holding you down, which I think is a good thing. So, yay for that.
The
Um,
gems. They were a prison.
oh, good.
I,
Okay,
re-
so breaking them was the right thing. Okay, good.
I, I dreamt there was a dragonborn who shattered them with an army. That was all real, wasn't it? The army
Yeah,
of elks?
yeah, not so much an army, like a troop of elks, whatever a group of elks would be, an elk pod or something. But yeah,
Hmm.
there were eight. There's now just the one you see beside you, because that one happened to just fall asleep mid-fight. Um, but yeah, me and the elks, courtesy of my friend Solomon, um, we took care of the gems and I guess released you wherever we are now. So you're free. Who are you?
I am in your debt. My name is Lyrinth, and I have been in a fitful sleep for, well, as long as I can remember. I would say it was a
Mm,
dream, but it felt like a nightmare, constantly recounting terrible memories, lonely and isolating thoughts. They seem to be drawn to the forefront of my mind.
What what memories? Do you mind if I come down to you? It's weird that I'm up on this pillar here. I'm gonna jump down.
She, yeah, she gazes up at you, and she still seems to be a bit hazy, but her eyes, the reptilian-like nature of them, sort of focus in, and the the slits become thinner, and look at you, and they seem to be like almost squinting, trying to make out who you are, and maybe they just haven't quite figured out if you're real or not. But they look at you for a moment, almost tilt their head to one side, perhaps in curiosity, but they continue sort of replying to your question. Memories. Yes, that's what they wanted from me. That's what they were doing. Drawing those memories, using them. To what end? I'm unsure, but I know it can't have been something good.
No, this place, well, not this place. I don't know where this place is, but the place where I was before I was here, um, yeah, has a thing about memories. It took my somebody there took my memories, a while ago. So I I can empathize with how you're feeling a little bit. Um, are you hungry? Do you
I
want
am
some?
Raven.
Okay,
Yes,
give me a sec. I'm gonna take out my tray pie. Pie trays, and
we have some venison right here. I'm joking.
the elk was rather helpful.
No
If you
way.
want meat, I can do like a chicken pot pie or like a shepherd's pie or something. But I have um I don't have a lot of
Sounds delightful. Any of
um
those.
yeah I don't have a lot of or any memories specific to certain things. But I do
Mm,
know I like pie. And I like things that are like that, like casseroles and whatnot. Um,
pie is
and
delicious.
I have a distinct, you know, a sensory memory, I guess it is. I don't have any specifics as to like when or anything like that, but I do know I really like this one dish. And I'm going to cast, and there's the dish sort of fills up magically, and inside is like a it looks like a crispy like corn flaky type thing on the top. Um, and then there's layers of bread and layers of meat and layers of cheese sort of going down, so it's like a grilled cheese pie type thing.
Oh,
But the bread is actually kind of like almost like a French toast type thing.
talking my language, Julian. That sounds amazing. I'm salivating.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
Sergeant. It is something that in our household, in real life, is known as the Christmas wife saver, and it is delicious.
love it.
I'm gonna
She
use
goes
I'm gonna do that.
wide-eyed, and you can smell this scent like exuding into the air already, and she's catching whiff of it. Kneels down, and well, she has to sort of move from where she was standing, and as she rises up, you actually see that there happens to be a small hoard, like a dragon's hoard, just underneath. Um, Not all gold though. I would say less gold and more um,
Mm.
silver and gemstones. Just a smallish pile there, kind of gathered underneath. Quite well hidden as well. You definitely didn't spot it before when she was lying there, but it seems like it was sort of hidden underneath her scales. And as she sort of shakes herself awake, she sniffs the air and leans down to partake of this delicious sounding meal.
It's got cheese, it's got some meat for you there. It's got some like the bread is really good, and the cornflake things on top are just add that little bit of crunch. It's amazing. I think you're really gonna enjoy this.
She delicately slices a section with her claw and then just sort of skewers it like a fork and then just brings it to her mouth. Very, very well mannered, you can tell. Um, and she partakes. She's just, this is delicious. I have not had anything like this since, oh, years ago. This feels like a memory I've lost myself.
Well, hopefully it's a comforting memory for you. Um, it's something that I've wanted to share with somebody for a while, and I've only been sort of experimenting with ideas and some recipes in my head and whatnot, and just I keep coming back to this one.
As her taste buds are tantalized and her eyes go wide um, with this euphoria, you see that the clouds around the sanctum here begin to sort of thin out. There's a slight bright hue, almost you could call it sunlight, but maybe it's just like this low glow of dawn that just slowly ekes out, and it basically dims some of the stars around here. And
Wow,
that's just from her like tasting this delicious meal.
you you have some power over the sky, over the stars.
Oh,
It looks like.
um, yeah. She says as she like continues chewing a bit. Um, yes, I my mind is able to project into a dream state. I'm able to
Oh,
communicate with beings beyond, but in this realm, it was sort of almost like a bubble. I've been trapped here. That's why they've been funneling them. Those dark
and
memories I spoke of.
oh, the memories,
Yes,
right? And they're taking the memories from you. You said, right?
they've been using them to fuel something. I can feel my memories being pulled and stretched thin, like cast over a sky.
I The place we're at now. I mean, outside of here, it's called Yawn. Is that familiar to you at all?
She
In
nods.
Prismere, not Yawn. Is that?
Yes, I remember. That is where my mate used to gaze upon the stars.
Um,
Mazikoth built a throne in that realm. He adored looking at the sky, seeing the beauty of the stars.
Mazikov is your mate, and the throne. I sat on the throne, and it brought me here. Do you know
Ah,
where here is? This is like a dream realm. Can we
this
get out
is.
of this?
He looks around and she does recognize it. And she says, "This was our realm. This was our. This was our small getaway from everyone. Our own little
Paradise.
private bubble. We called it the Dream Star Sanctum. Me and Mazikoth then enchanted the astronomer's throne as a gateway between those worlds.
And then
Within
you
the
got
demiplane, I would dream, and beautiful dreams would cascade across the sky as celestial wonders, multi-hued auroras, nebulas, and Mazikoth gazed upon them with his telescope. He
oh, he
saw
told me to.
not just a beauty, but knowledge. He began a quest. He ventured out. He was not satisfied by simply staying here at the throne. He became obsessed with something called the Ebon Star, said to be a, a black star on the edge of night. She sort of hangs her head and shakes it slightly, and you can tell her emotion sort of suddenly slump, and you see darker clouds beginning to sort of block out the rising dawn again, and the stars come back to full brightness. I
You control the sky. Your what was being pulled I don't know if this is right, but I think what was being pulled from you is what was controlling the sky in Yon. The sky in Yon now is dark and clouded, and there's a perpetual storm. Like, I have some ability to fly, but lightning keeps on striking me when I try to do so. And I think that's because or your power was being pulled to control that.
You speak as though you know my own emotional state, dark, stormy. I I pleaded with Mazikoth to stay, but he felt like his life mission was to see that star for himself.
He
I
left you.
thought perhaps maybe if I blocked out his vision, he would come back. If he could not see the stars, he would have no reason to chase them. He promised he would return, and yet when he took to the stars, that was the last time I saw him. I never heard from him again. A tear runs down from her scales, and it begins to rain slightly, just a pitter patter in this realm. If
I
my
know
emotions
how
have caused all this, then I am deeply sorry. I have been unable to wake.
well your emotions are valid. You've suffered a great loss, a great sadness. And so I can't fault you for that. And I can't fault you for being imprisoned. You know, it's it's not your fault that this is happening. And maybe now that you're free, maybe Mazikov will return. Maybe he's looking for you, or maybe you can go find him. I don't know.
I
Um,
can only hope. I can only wish upon a star. She sort of half smiles. I must find him, though. He wouldn't have broken his promise. I'm sure he's out there, maybe finding a way back. Something must have happened to him. I will find out now with my newfound freedom, which I have you to thank for. But
I try to help people, and I'm fortunate that Solomon had the foresight to help me, or else I wouldn't have been able to. We wouldn't be having this conversation. So, um, I thank you for that. But I'm just trying to help people, um, help find the way sometimes. So you can now you are free to do what you want.
she looks at you and like stares you deeply into your eyes and just sort of thinks, and you can feel this almost psychic resonance ringing from her. Though I though I grieve over my lost love, there's something else that plagued my nightmares and cast these dark clouds. But that memory feels as though it has been cursed, stolen. I I I cannot grasp it. It is out there, some piece of me that has been lost to these winds.
I I hate to sound presumptuous on this, or maybe I'm just completely barking up the wrong tree, but Mazakov is a dragon, right? Another dragon.
He is when he chooses to be, yes. He can also take the form of an elf. That is
Of an
when
elf.
I first laid eyes on him. There he was, staring up at the sky, in a mortal form.
Hmm. Um, you talked about lost memories and things being taken from you, and I've had memories taken from me, because of certain individuals in Yon. Am and this is gonna sound strange, but am I at all familiar to you? Do you do you do you know anything about me? Am I don't know.
I I recognize I
My name is
recognize yes,
my name is
your
Xaxx, if that helps.
she looks at you and tilts her head to the side, and she looks again like directly at you. I recognize that that and her eyes suddenly look down and notice your moonstone amulet. Yes, I recognize these. And
Well,
she then looks back at her treasure hoard, and she, with the tail, sort of brushes forward a large moonstone that is actually sitting atop the pile of silver and gems.
you know the moon god, or you know of the moon god.
I have felt her presence.
Mm.
I have been able to
She's helped
contact
me.
her as well. Sorry?
You can contact her. I've only had brief images and almost like scattered communications, but I get my power from her, and I do know that she has also suffered a loss similar to us, memory loss. Doesn't know who she is. So as I've been trying to get my own memories back, I'm trying to find the solution for her so she can become who she needs to be. And you know I don't know, it
Perhaps
sounds it's all silly. Why would a god forget who they are? That
it
seems
is not
impossible.
silly, Zax. Perhaps it is she who brought you here and showed you the way. For these gemstones seem to have a connection. I have been fortunate enough to be able to communicate with it, with her, being that I myself am a moonstone dragon. There is sort of a fortunate crossover in that regard, and we use our psychic resonance to be able to contact each other.
I have I have psychic. Uh, I can psychically communicate with people too. It's limited a little bit, when, but I can do that. And I mean, I also like with the connections to different moonstones that have. I don't know if you know this, but some of the moon itself seems to has broken up and been scattered. Um, but the larger chunks that I've been able to come across, I can connect back with them and get visions of what's happening there. There was one in like this big lake. There was one in like a crater. Um, and there's a traveling tavern that walks around and uses it, so I can sort of connect with those places. Does that sound like something you can do? Can you connect in that same way?
Yes, she has spoke of you, the one who has been fastening these bonds back together. You've been the junction in which these moonstones have tied. You are sort of the link.
I'm, oh,
This particular moonstone has been here within my hoard for many years. Perhaps it has been waiting for you. And she grabs it with her claws and gracefully hands it and offers it to you.
um, I'll take it. Okay. Thank,
Consider it
thank-
payment for the delicious pie and
No,
for freeing me.
no payment is necessary. We're in the Feywild. We don't do with payment. It's
Oh,
reciprocity and hospitality.
ah, that is what Mazikoth used to call it. Yes,
So
reciprocity. And she bows her head.
thank you. I bow back to her. I'll take.
And I will, yeah, I'll pass you this. Now, because it's been inside a dragon's hoard for some time, it also has some other powers that almost instantly sort of flash to your mind as you um, place your hand on the gemstone. It almost sort of stirs you awake, you could say. Where before you were slumbering, you are now stirring. And this is a moonstone gem that has the stirring property. It's basically a dragon touched focus. It does require attunement, but you can attach it to a scepter or an orb, or even just have it as an amulet, or even just hold it in your hand if you wish. And the the ability, the first one, is that you have advantage on initiative rolls. Now I know you already have that from your your own feature, but at the very least now you can always give it to an ally of yours, and now you always have initiative at advantage. That's the first ability, and then the second ability, and you can also use it for your spellcasting focus. And the second ability um, allows you to, whenever you cast a spell slot, you can immediately teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 15 feet of you. So
Oh,
gets you around and possibly out of constraints. So I think teleportation is very, very useful. You might find a use for it. But yeah, I'll get this onto your sheet. Let's do this.
okay. Thank you.
And I'm telling you all this now because it is probably just either she would tell you or you would instantly find this come to mind almost instinctively. It is not only a moonstone, but from a from a dragon, it's like the two things combined that make the total sense for Xaxx. It's the most fitting magic item I think you could possibly get. Let's see.
Oh, man.
Dragon Touch.
Maybe I won't be at the end of the initiative order every time now.
So, okay. And the longer a treasure stays within a dragon's hoard, the more powerful it can become. All the way to like Awakened, which is like a legendary item, but for now that takes like ages, basically.
And now both me and you have dragon touched items.
Yes, you do. You've got the vessel. No, you've got what?
What do I have? I've got the scaled ornament.
Scaled ornament. That's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah, that was from the Black Dragon.
Yep.
Okay. Stirring.
Oh, and his is
There it
stirring
is.
as well,
Found it.
which is better than mine.
It's a it's been here for a long time, and it only makes sense because
Yeah.
she's no longer slumbering; she's stirring.
Yeah, it makes
So
perfect sense story-wise.
it's so fitting. It's unbelievable. Right, it should be on your sheet now.
Yeah, I can see it now. What's the
Cool.
I see can be a potion, a horn, a container.
Yeah, wait. Is that the right? No, that's the.
It says
I put the
stirring
vessel on,
dragon vessel.
not the. Sorry, I put the wrong one on. There's so many in here. Let me find it again. Items. It's because you said stir. It's because you said vessel, or I said vessel. I'm looking for focus. There it is. Stirring Dragon Touch focus. Okay, now it's on there.
Oh, okay, yeah, got it now.
I'll delete the other one. There we go.
Did
I just?
you deleted
You
the wrong
just
one?
replaced it back again.
I'll get rid of the vessel, Chris, while you put the other one on.
God,
There you go.
those days.
Also,
All right, sorry about that.
Xaxx, am I misremembering, or did you give the ring to the Galf?
I gave the ring to the Gauth, but I don't know if it's still going to be gone. So I was going to ask that after we were sort of done with
It is gone, I'm afraid. Yeah, that got fully consumed and eaten.
So shall I remove
Galf.
that from the sheet?
Yeah,
Yes.
just remove that from the sheet then.
And if you have questions about that ring, Lyrinth might be able to answer them about what was really happening here.
Yeah, I suppose I should ask. Thank you for this. This new stuff. This is amazing. This is, I had that ring, that I gave to the floaty eye thing. I don't even know
The
what that
Galf.
was. It was, oh, the Gauth. Yeah.
Yes, that was one of Endelin's summons.
Well, he was. Oh, Endelin. You know Endelin Moongrave.
I'm afraid to say that I do.
She's the one that trapped you there.
Yes, she nods. And I believe she tried to summon this as a guardian of sorts. However, I was able to project some dreamlike state to disrupt it. And instead of summoning a spectator rather, she got a Gauth, which are often disguise themselves as spectators, but they are nowhere near as loyal, and they're much more costly to keep. Gauths, they feed on magic,
Yeah,
specifically
those rings.
items. I saw that you were able to distract the creature for long enough to figure it out. But yes, those are despicable beholderkin. You have done
So
this realm a service by wiping its existence from it.
he's gone, and so is my ring.
I'm
Is-
afraid so.
So
Anything they assimilate is, if it was magical to begin with, it is either mundane now. If you find a ring, it is likely just a simple gold band now.
no, that's too bad. It was in certain circumstances it was useful, but that's okay. I think the more important thing is that you're we were able to free you, and the more people we can do that from Edlin Moongrave, is the better things will be.
I do remember other creatures came into this realm. They were
It's
feeding
elves.
it. No, not those. The ones before you. Ones that came
Oh,
to feed the creature and sustain it. But I believe Endlin wanted to keep it hungry, such that it perhaps obeyed her.
one of those creatures didn't happen to have a moon for a face, did it?
She closes her eyes as if to sort of try and remember. Yes, a shadowy figure.
Goes by the name of Obscurity.
She did not speak to me, but rather gazed upon me, stared at me for some unknown reason. I'm not sure whether she wanted to reach out, but when I tried, she would simply fade away.
Yeah, she's a slippery one. Obscurity, the moon-faced individual, is a tricky one. She is you may notice I don't have a shadow, and Obscurity is the shadow of another person that's with the other group outside of here as well now. So I don't know how to approach that, because before I was super mad at Obscurity because she's the one who stole my um memories. I can't remember anything or much in detail before I first encountered her. So I was pretty angry, but now I find out that Obscurity is just the shadow self of this other person, Gleam. And maybe because I don't have a shadow, maybe there's a shadow version of me out there somewhere doing stuff that is not pleasant. And so I'm a little conflicted as to how to approach that. Um, but yeah, so that's just to say, Obscurity is the one who stole from me and is annoying and is pestering me and goading me on, and she tricked me into almost getting myself killed. And I don't really like her that much, but she's
Perhaps
yeah.
don't want to sound sympathetic, but it sounds as though. Well, I imagine if you're experiencing this much torment without your shadow, what does a shadow feel without its body? Empty? Alone?
Yeah, see, now you're just making me feel sorry for her, and I didn't want to do that. I just
It
wanted
is.
her to be a very straightforward, she stole something, I can kill her and get it back. And now it's complicated.
This does not forgive her actions, but perhaps in understanding why she projects this cruelty and malice, maybe it is because it is all she knows. It is all she feels in her own heart. I
What if
saw
I
what
bring, what if I reconnect Obscurity and Gleam so that they're whole again?
she
Does that,
thinks
do
for
you
a
think
moment.
that might work? Like, would that,
That
I
is
don't know,
a
solve the question is the right thing, but would that help?
that is a bold idea to unite
I'm
one's
full of
shadow with
bold ideas.
their body. I I feel you may have some difficulty. in the magical department, but this could be the solution.
Maybe I can just sew their feet together or something.
Yes. You would need some thread, I suppose. Some sort of magical thread.
Yeah. Bibbity bobbity boop or whatever.
He smiles. But we've already seen what bad thoughts and dark memories can conjure.
Yeah.
Anyone is capable of those kind of emotions. Anyone can conjure a storm.
Yeah, the storm, well, the storm out there reacted to emotion. So when I was upset, oh, you're turning around. When I was
She looks,
upset,
yeah, she's just looking up at them.
oh, I'll just come beside you here. When I was like upset or angry or sad or something, it would like form a storm around me. And I guess, yeah, it happens sort of for everybody, I think. But the place seems to be particularly angry. So maybe now, I mean, now that you're free, you can
He looks down at you
maybe
and
maybe
says,
maybe
"You're
maybe.
able to conjure the storm as well?"
Oh, yeah. I mean, like when I things don't work. Have the last like week or so? I can't remember how long we've been here, but the last little bit while that we've been here has not been a lot of fun. This place is against me. I can't fly without getting struck by lightning. I can't seem to do much of anything correctly. I'm just letting everybody down, and um, when that happens more so, it's the clouds seem to gather around and the storm seems to be amplified.
She nods knowingly.
So it
These
seems
aren't emotions you can simply bottle up. They are what you're feeling. Like you said to me, they are valid emotions. The only way to calm them is to confront what is causing them at the root. Only then can we
obscurity.
feel the storm abate.
I mean, I feel like getting rid of obscurity and the Evelyn, um, that would solve that. Getting my memories back, that would solve that. So like that's
Seems you know you are heading. Even in
and I
this dark storm, you will find your way, Xaxx.
I'm gonna put my hand on her wing or like or side or something that I can
Yeah.
reach.
Yeah, she
I don't know
extends it
what's
out
gonna
to
happen.
you.
I don't know what's gonna happen with you now. You can go. You're free. You can go wherever you need to go. You can find Mazakov, chase the Black Star. But I feel like there's a connection. I feel like we are similar somehow, and I don't want to assume anything. But um, I just wanted you to know that, and um, know that if even if you don't find Mazakov or wherever things are, that there's someone back here or there's someone around who's like you and is sympathetic to your feelings.
She looks to you and says, This this connection, I feel it as well. I cannot deny that there's something about you. But that burning desire to see Mazakoth again is definitely
Oh,
at the forefront of my mind.
you got to do what you got to do. It's been a while.
I will find my lost love first, and then I will address whatever dark curse still lies over my mind. Endelyn will pay. Now. Or later.
We
The
have
best I
we
can
have.
offer you
Oh,
is
sorry.
at least to clean up these skies. And she begins to sort of spread out her wings and flaps them with more emphasis and fury. And then you see her beginning to take flight. And with each flap of the wings, you see the clouds and nebulous like realm beginning to sort of waft and push away. And she says, "Come, let us take you back to your back to Yon."
Yes, I think it's probably time we get back to everybody else. They'll probably be. I don't know how time works, if it's like different here or something, but yeah, they might be wondering where I've gone
Um,
to.
and as she takes flight, she also lifts up one other thing out of the horde. It seems to be a large, heavy tome, and she passes it to you. And it says something in Elvish on the spine, but she says, "This was Mazakoth's guide to the galaxies. It is a book containing histories and insights and myth and legends on astronomy. He speculated a mysterious phenomena known as the dark star on the edge of night, called the Ebon Star, but I have read the tome many times. It is his life's work finding that. Perhaps
Is it all in Elvish? Because I don't read Elvish.
well, perhaps one of your friends can aid you in reading it. It's a very long tome. It will take you many hours, but if you ever come across something in that description, perhaps you will find him before I do. I'm just simply expanding my search." And as she hands it to you, she also offers you a ride on her palm and says, "Let us fly."
Let's fly.
Okay. She picks you up and she flaps furiously up into the air, going into a twirl, and the realm almost kind of shatters and melts away in the same sort of span. And as it spirals away, and you see the stars sort of shoot off into the distance, this bubble around this dream star sanctum pops, and you return back into the night sky of Yon. But already, where the eye of the storm was, you can already see it is beginning to dissipate. The once swirling storm has sort of slowed, and the hole to the clear sky has widened such that you can see just this faintish light peering down through the clouds, like a ray that shines down upon the astronomer's throne. For Solomon, who's out here watching, waiting for some sort of sign that Xaxx is okay. You, well, what have you been doing all this time, Solomon?
Probably just sat by the throne crying.
Oh no!
Oh, Xaxx, you were gone too young. You still had to get your memories.
A little rain cloud just raining down on Solomon as he's crying, but it suddenly stops raining. The cloud above your head seems to have pushed away from that circular opening, and as you look up to see what's happened to it, that's when you see shooting down from the sky, almost like a comet, this beam of brilliant starlight seems to be spinning, but there's a purplish hue to the light as well. And as your eyes begin to adjust, you see Xaxx atop this beautiful opalescent dragon soaring down from the skies above. And as they go, they leave these trails of constellations in their wake in a sort of dreamlike nebula.
Am I dead? What the?
There also happens to be an elk as well that is also sort of galloping through the air, on maybe a pathway of starlight. Starbuck has returned. Yeah,
Which
that's the cry of Starbuck.
Which one is it?
It's actually Tanwen's elk, but it's the only one that was left alive. It's one you summoned for sure.
Yeah.
But
What,
they,
what did we call that one?
I think that was
can't
either
remember.
Tanwen or Tanwen 2 because we didn't name those ones.
I think
It
this
is
one
now
was
the great
10
elk in the sky. That's for sure.
It's called the
As
Elky
it,
Way.
yeah, the elky way, sure. As this dragon swoops down, Xaxx, are you hopping off or
Yeah.
okay?
Thank
Yeah,
you for bringing us back. And telepathically, I'm gonna say to Laren, I truly hope that you are able to find what you're looking for and you're successful in reuniting with Mazakov. Best of luck to you. Thank you, truly, from the bottom of my heart.
and I thank you for my freedom. Is I'm in your debt.
No such thing.
And perhaps when all these moonstones are connected, we can ask that goddess simply what our memories entailed. Perhaps they will come earlier. I'm sure that a wish will be at least granted, either now or soon. And she's speaking telepathically to you during this. Solomon, you just have no idea. There's this beautiful dragon that seems to be just swirling around the throne. It's almost picking up the clouds as it does. With that, I believe this will not be the last we have seen of each other. We'll meet again,
hope-
Xaxx.
I hope it's not the last time. I hope to see you again. And I hope to see Mazakov as well.
She smiles and nods. Yes, we will unite. And as she flies up, swirling again into the air, at the apex of the cloud cover, she unravels her wings in a powerful beat that suddenly pushes back the dark clouds even further. And you can see that momentum seems to carry over the entire of Yon. It's just this slow pushing as if the dark storm has been completely silenced. The thunder and the crackling is no more. It's just this ever so slight drifting motion your best guess may take several days before this is completely cleared up and moved on, but it's definitely begun a process. And as she flies up once again, you see her disappear over that veil of dark clouds and into the distance.
I'm just gonna stare and watch her leave for a while. And then once she gets sort of far enough away, I'm gonna take just a deep breath to settle myself. And then turn around to Solomon. Solomon, you're a genius.
I hug him. Did you
You're
did you do it? Did you get your memories back? I've been waiting so long for you to come back. I thought you
no.
were dead.
Well, I'm not. I did, um, possibly die. So that definitely could have maybe. I'm not sure exactly, but felt like it might have happened. Um,
Like,
and no memories, no memories back. I still don't know pretty much everything still, but I'm a little bit closer, I think.
that's good. I mean, I don't know what to do now. It's been so long.
But I couldn't have done it without you. I want you to know.
Yeah, but
I could not have done any of this. I couldn't have gone in there. I couldn't have survived. I wouldn't be back here if it wasn't for you. and you summoned the elks. They were amazing. They helped me. There was a whole thing, and I'll tell him about the whole story as we sort of walk
Yeah,
down. But I'm just like,
on the way
it's
down. Beautiful.
yeah.
Before
You
we even set off, I'm just like, but you were gone for so long. They came looking for you, and they all left, Xaxx.
who? What do you mean?
Everybody.
What do you mean they all came?
You were gone forever. I wouldn't leave you behind.
It's only been like half an hour, maybe, since I've been
I've
in there.
I must have slept at least 30 times. In quotation
What?
marks, I said slept. Yeah, you were
What?
gone
No,
forever.
no. What? Wait. No, I wasn't in it that long. I went in. There was the Gauth. There was the Elks, and I fought the Gauth. And then I had the conversation. I talked with the dragon there for a bit. She gave me this cool ass book, which you're gonna have to read to me because I can't read it.
Good job I stayed behind then, huh?
But like it wasn't that long. Like they were probably still sleeping, I thought.
Yeah, probably. And then they woke up. They came to check. You were gone. They all left.
Oh man, I messed this up too. Ah,
But
where do
yeah,
they go?
another 8 years has passed.
Yes. Oh,
No,
I
it's
am
not been that long, but I will say it's been long enough that everyone else has actually probably finished their long rest, and they are coming too. It might be that that ray of light that's shooting down from the eye of the storm shines upon not only the throne, but sort of has widened enough that it encompasses the bottom and the base of the throne, and yeah, the party for the first time in a very long time in the Feywild actually wake to dawn. Like it feels like the sun is rising. There's a warmth on your skin.
remembered remembered so long ago when you and Nox had that plan to give me that note.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Haha.
you're oh, you're so clever. You're the best, Solomon.
As we're getting back to camp.
Yeah, you do see the rest of your party is still present, Xaxx, but yeah, they're waking up. So although you say it's only been like half an hour, perhaps it was longer. Perhaps it has been about 8 hours.
8.
Oh,
Yeah, you should
So
probably sleep.
where have you guys
yeah.
been? I woke up to take the next watch and nobody was here. What do you think you're doing? You can't just leave us all of that. Did something happen? Were you kidnapped?
I point to the sky.
That doesn't tell me anything.
Xaxx
You
The sky.
disappeared.
you fix the
Like
weather?
I didn't fix the weather. I just helped the person who could.
Okay, and you couldn't leave a note while you were doing this? I mean, I'm
didn't
just
think
saying, I wasn't worried, but other people.
I'm not the best at making ahead sometimes.
So okay, the weather. Did you didn't trade anything to fix it, did you?
Uh, oof. Trade is a difficult word. I did. I'm down a magical ring, but I'm up a sweet ass book, and
Okay,
the weather's better.
the weather is
And
better. Hmm?
I mean,
And it looks like
I
you've got a pretty rock.
the rock's not out.
Huh?
It's in my
Oh, but
book. I'm not showing you the edge of the rock.
Ah, fair enough.
Rodolfo, please don't complain. This may be the first time I've been dry in weeks, and I know you want to be dry too.
So,
So,
no, I mean, yes, I have mold growing in my pockets from all this damp, but when
And
you say you are going on watch, you have to be on watch.
So I thought maybe that going up there, I went up that throne at the top of the hill. I thought doing that was my where I would get my memories back, the same way Tanwen got her doll, and how Solomon and Nox got a piece themselves, and the same way Tarquin sort of got his form, his original form back. I thought maybe that would do it for me, but it didn't happen. So I'm still lost, but I'm not as lost as I was before. There was a dragon that was imprisoned up in there in a different pocket dimension thing, and that was what the dragon was what was causing the bad weather. So I freed her, and the weather's better now. But
Um,
she was like me in a way, except for that she's a dragon, and I'm not really I'm not a proper dragon. But she's you know she has a connection to the stars. I have a connection to the moon, and she actually said she's spoken to my god a couple times. So we're
Did you happen to
uh,
get the name of this god from them while you were there?
that's still up in the air. Nobody seems to know.
Ah.
But I'll get that figured out.
So,
That's
wait, you fixed the weather. As
I
You
didn't
met a
in,
fix the
dragon,
weather.
like a real dragon, like a destroy a city in one breath dragon.
This not this isn't the kind of dragon that destroys cities. But a full size big dragon. Yeah. She could fit me in the palm of her hand.
At least,
Solomon saw her.
at least we didn't have to kill this one.
I don't think we could have if we tried, and if anybody tries to kill this dragon, I'd be pretty upset. So
well, it seems like we've incorporated a dragon.
well, they're clever.
But
Less incorporated, more of an associate because she's gone off. She has her own mission. She's got to go to.
that's fair. That's fair. But if you fix the weather, just looking
Again,
up,
I didn't fix the weather.
well,
She fixed the weather.
well,
I
you
just
were involved indirectly, directly, whatever. But if the weather's fixed, does that mean there's no more lightning going to the lightning rods?
Oh,
I don't know.
You stare out onto the horizon, waiting for some errant bolt to come striking at Xaxx or some tower, and there are no distant flashes.
Xaxx,
Is that going to be
Yeah,
a problem?
yeah.
if you miss it, I can still call lightning down on you.
Well, I'm
Maybe
just
maybe another time. I'm pretty worn out from that little solo.
Well, you take a nap on the wagon as we continue our way, but if we've stopped the lightning and the lightning was powering the orrery, we've stopped the orrery.
Potentially, it's definitely probably hurt.
And the
Moongrave.
lightning's probably being used at least to power something, and that's stopped now, so it might have some residuals, but that could be a big advantage. So what's in the book? You said it was a good book.
It's I need Solomon to read it, I think, because it's in Elvish. But it's a book of stars and constellations and celestial bodies, and it was written by this guy Mazikoff. And maybe it's the secret to there's a secret in there for I don't know. I need Solomon to help me with it.
Yep, that's fair. I
Or
mean,
Nox, or I
We've got
need them
time.
to, yeah. Where's Gleam? I need to talk to
Gleam
Gleam
went
really quick.
in via the tunnel. They're not with us.
She went to Lockberry Henge,
Okay.
and
Well,
then from Lockberry Henge, she would have gone to meet the Briganauts.
when we see her again, I just remind me that I gotta ask her something, or I gotta talk to her or something. So
Okay.
yeah. Once again, and I'm gonna look at Solomon. You're absolutely the best. I could not have. I wouldn't be here without you.
It was only some elks.
I give him a big hug.
Oh,
Wow, it sounds
okay.
like they were big elk. But let's continue on our way to Motherhorn. Then Xaxx can sleep on the way, I guess.
Yeah, I need to.
I mean,
I
you're
got
probably
beat
not
up
going to
like
get your
crazy.
full 8 hours, but
Yeah.
don't know if we can wait 8 hours.
Well, you got
I-
Cordelia, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
At least
sleep.
I'm
I'm gonna
assuming you
sleep
do.
in Cordelia.
yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You can nap on the wagon whilst we continue.
Yeah.
Shall I start on that book then, Xaxx?
Yeah. Well, can you start taking a look through it? And I need you to take just look out for anything about something called the Ebon Star. It's a black star on the edge of the night. Anything about the moon, or like a moon god, or dragons, or me. I don't know. I really don't know what's gonna be in there. It might just be descriptions of stars. I don't know.
It's a pretty big looking book. So
I get into the wagon with Xaxx. We both. Well, he heads off to sleep. I get to like the first page, and then I pass out into a trance for 4 hours because I've not slept
Yeah.
at the book.
well, I
Drooling a
guess
bit.
I guess
And then the second set of 4 hours, I do actually get into the book.
I guess for the 4 hours while they're trancing, Tarquin will try to give it a bit of a read, just to more of a skim read, like in depth, just to see if he catches any of those words that Xaxx mentioned, or even if there's a contents page, because there might be. It might be well catalogued. Might as well use
So-
the 4 hours.
The 4 hours is still not enough to finish this book. This is a hefty tome, like I mentioned, and it is chock full of notations and observations of the night sky, theories, as well as stories as well surrounding each constellation. So it is a almost an encyclopedia of astronomy. Now, even spending 1 hour reading it, though, you feel as though there is some sort of magical effect that does impart upon the reader. But it would take many, many hours to complete it. It almost acts like a tome of, what's it called? The knowledge tomes that you get
Yeah.
stats from. But it's less powerful than that. It's able to get you a skill. Now, I've put the book on both Xaxx and Solomon's sheet,
Yeah.
so just for reference. But yeah, basically, if you spend 48 hours over a period of 6 days or fewer studying the book's contents and practicing its guidelines, you gain proficiency with basically a skill of your choice. One that most likely makes sense, like Arcana. But survival or history would also work, and deception and insight at a push. Intimidation, maybe. But one of those more social kind of stats, knowledge stats.
I mean, I could see, considering it's about astronomy, perception would definitely work. Because obviously you perceive the stars, things like that.
Yeah, I'd be willing to go with that as well.
So
nature,
but it would
would
mean
work.
But once the manual has been fully read, the manual then loses that magic.
Yeah,
and then regains it in a century. Yeah.
Yeah, then it just becomes, read the book to learn some stuff but not get skills from it.
when Xaxx wakes up, am I able to read the book to him to pass on the magic?
Yeah, I will let you decide which one gets that, but yeah, you could, if you wanted to have it as a story time for Xaxx, if you wanted to give the proficiency to him, but not gonna lie, I'm gonna be impressed if you do find 48 hours within the next 6 days anyway, because there's lots to do. But you know, it's there. It's an item. It's nice to have,
It's a
and you
bonding
begin.
experience.
I suppose you could also, as part of it, as you're like reading it and translating it, you could almost be using it to teach Xaxx Elvish as well.
I mean, I could.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, hey, you could even say instead of a skill proficiency, I'd just like to learn Elvish. That'd be, I would totally be cool with that as well. But there's a little perhaps passage as you were trying to look up specifically about the Ebon Star. It is quite in depth, and there are many back and forths almost in his own mind, and some seem to contradict each other. But the final chapter is about the Ebon Star, and it's a lot of words that you probably have never heard of. Stuff like Irolathus and Netherese, and you're like, what the heck do these words even mean? Some sort of starfield, a swirling starfield that represents the cosmos. Apparently, this strange phenomena created a dark star in a position where no known star exists today. Apparently, anyone who seeks it out risks being cursed by a foreboding sense of doom. It is quite a lot to take in, and some have suggested that it is both the beginning and the end of the multiverse itself. It's a lot. It's a very heady subject. Some have said that they can no longer look at the sky because they believe the Ebon Star might be looking back at them. It's there's a lot of mysteries and rumors surrounding this thing, and he's tried to compile them. But nonetheless, it's easy to see why he has become so obsessed with this. But it sounds like another journey for another day. We'll say that much. Anyway, at the end of your 4 hours, Solomon, you do come out of your trance. You've recovered from your long rest. Xaxx is still asleep. And you're trudging along. Let me just check, see what else we have in the old random encounters. You've done a lot of them. Yeah, I think for the most part, with the sky being sort of this new dawn, the stars have started to wink through that like opening. There's this sort of sense of hope and calm about this morning that has just pushed back the shadows, and you don't feel burdened by your quest for once. So I'm going to say that you managed to get a long rest there, Xaxx. And the actual pathway to Motherhorn isn't as treacherous. The light seems to be illuminating a new path. So I'll just roll one last d8 and see if you do counter the old big boy. Nope, you're good. It's a 3 you do not want me to roll, by the way. If we roll a 3, it's something bad happens. Anyway, 4 is fine. We've already dealt with the kite. So yeah, I'm gonna say for the most part, the journey is long, long enough for Xaxx to enjoy a nice long 8 hours rest, but it is unimpeded. and before long, you start to come around the very tall and slim mountain, and in view, you can start to see an ominous-looking castle. Around here, the clouds have not abated. They are still just as dark and ominous as they were when the storm was raging, but there aren't as many flashes, that's for sure, if any at all. There's perhaps just a sparking from a nearby lightning rod, like where it's been still energized, but it isn't being struck continuously.
Um,
There's still lightning on this one over here.
Yeah, it's like it's stored on there. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Still, you can still feel that kind of like hum, and you can smell like this ozone in the air.
Okay.
Chris, if I sat on the roof, would I have been able to turn the columbine flower into the poison so that
Yep.
okay, then I would like to give one vial back to Xaxx because he gave me the 2 glass vials for him to use with the slingshot. So we each have a
Okay.
vial of the columbine poison.
Yeah, we'll call it malice. It is actually an item that I can import onto your sheet, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's already there actually. So yeah, you
Tanwen,
turn the flower into the rather potent poison that can be applied to ammunition or a weapon.
Okay.
When you hit them, you potentially blind them if they fail their con save.
Okay, can you, I'll lower my number to 1. Can you give one of those to Xaxx?
Yep, sure.
No, it's Tanwen. It's unnecessary. This is for you. This is you're the one who shoots stuff at things, and I think it's
I,
best served with you. I'm not very good with my slingshot, if I'm being honest, and like I can use the slingshot to distract things by maybe shooting a rock over there and whatever, sneak by. But this is for you. This is to help you out. So
oh,
you should keep it. You should keep it.
well, thank you. I appreciate that, Xaxx, but I have nothing to give you back unless you'll take a good berry from me
I'll take a
for
good
rest.
berry. I'll take a good berry from you.
All right.
We'll do that as an exchange.
Okay.
But
Fair
it's
enough.
fully unnecessary. You've been nice to me, and I know I haven't been the most pleasant person to be around for the last little bit. And I know you've been trying to cheer me up, and you've been saying kind words. So I want you to know that I do really appreciate that. And that's I'm sorry for how I've been acting, and I'm
No
sorry
need
that
to apologize. You brought
haven't been
sunshine.
I
Sunshine.
didn't I didn't do that. I can't take credit for it. Um, but I just want you to know I really appreciate your friendship, and I appreciate you being here, and I want
Oh,
to help you out as much as I can. So please keep
okay.
the poisons, and you're the best person I think to keep them and hold on to them.
Well, thank you so much. And I know you helped bring back the sunshine, and mine and Rudolfo's pockets truly appreciate it.
And everybody else, Rodolfo, Solomon, Tarquin, everybody, I just, I apologize. I know I've been a downer. I know I've been, um, not my usual self, at least that you know me, um,
Uh,
for the last little bit since we got to this place. I do apologize for that.
I
I've
don't
been,
really feel like I can say anything on that regards. Otherwise, I'd be apologizing every day. I think I do apologize every day, though. I'm sorry.
you do apologize a lot.
I,
And it's unnecessary. But I just want to say, I know you guys have been, everybody's been really trying to help out and everything, and I haven't been always the best with things. So I just want to apologize to you and to say I do appreciate each and every one of you.
but you
Yeah,
know that is very kind, Zax, but you know it's not necessary, and you know we would have gone with you if you felt this dangerous, crazy, reckless thing was something you needed to do. We would have gone. We would have I mean, that is why we are Dragon Incorporated.
That's yeah. That was me being stupid. I think. I thought because remember when Nox went into the mirror thing and she was with Helia and she just gave the thing a hug and that sort of. I thought maybe it would be like that and I wouldn't really be in danger, but I was wrong and I died. And so I probably could have used you. So that was me being silly. And not thinking properly. I was being
Wait,
a little bit impulsive. Um,
how did you
so
die?
yeah. Oh,
Good question.
the Gauth thing shot me a bunch of times, and yeah, I I died while I was there.
Isn't that some sort of like thing? A gout?
The gout,
I
Isn't
think
that like a medical problem?
Gauth.
Oh,
It's like the dragon Solomon that you saw said it was like a specter, which I don't know what a spectator, which I don't know what a spectator is either, but it's a less controllable form. It eats magic and eats magical items, so just if you ever see one, just be aware of that. Um,
so,
but
so
yeah,
did
it was pretty rough.
did the dragon bring you back?
No, a monkey did.
There was a monkey in there?
Ah,
There wasn't a monkey in there. I think it was a monkey from the carnival. I heard carnival music, and then there was a monkey flying by, and then I was just, yeah, it was sort of weird. It's a
We
strange place. I
yeah,
could have,
left the
that
yeah,
happened to
we
me
left
when
it
I
wasn't.
died.
we left the
Oh,
carnival
you
so
did?
long ago.
Yeah, I don't know how. Maybe we're just connected. Maybe the carnival really likes us and doesn't want us to.
Well,
Maybe we are the carnival.
remember, like, the carnival's a magical place full of magical creatures, and to be honest, I've always thought there were odd things about that monkey. And the rule of reciprocity applies there as it does here. You gave them a butt, and they gave you a life. It's kind of a weird concept, but yeah,
I mean, it's a bargain, if nothing else.
yeah.
It's
Oh, well,
certainly helped. So just if you gave the monkey a button, I guess you maybe you'll get the same thing. No guarantees though. I'll try to keep
Yeah.
you alive.
Yeah, try not to die.
Try not to
And
die.
have-
I'll
especially
try to
me and
do
Xaxx,
healing
because
magic.
we already used our chance.
but my armor's
Mhm.
made of nature. How would I have given it a button?
I mean, you could have given it something equivalent to a button, like
Yeah.
uh,
Maybe there's a button. Maybe there's a button could have been made out of like bark or something or
yeah,
stone or bone. Bones are nature, right? So
or a leaf,
Uh,
like a
So Pig
leaf.
speaks up and says, "No, Solomon is right. He didn't give a button. So if you die for real."
How
Solomon, that won't happen.
how
at
do
least
you know?
He licks her lollipop. I talk to the carnival people. I know things in the carnival.
Ah, fair enough.
You-
Fair, yeah, makes sense. I just thought I'd ask. You know. Um. So, looking forward to going to Motherhorn, so pig.
Yeah, it's finally time to ruin one of Bitter End's plays.
Yep,
That's the plan, right?
exactly.
All right then. And she waves her little invitation and skips forward down the path. Well then, what are we waiting for?
We're off
wait.
to see the witch, the wonderful witch of Motherhorn.
If if she's called Bitter End, what if we make her one of her plays have a happy end? Would that make her mad?
I
Well,
told you you're brilliant, Solomon.
honestly,
That's a good idea.
yeah, I was thinking, considering like the orrery of tragedies, maybe it feeds off of tragedy, so maybe we should pull on a comedy.
Wait,
Yeah.
we're putting on a comedy?
Well, we don't know yet, but we might be able to turn, if she expects us to be in one of her plays, we might be able to turn it into a comedy. but we need to do it while staying on script somehow. Not quite sure how that works, but that'll depend on the script.
It's all in the delivery.
Exactly.
I thought we were just watching.
Well, we were invited to an audience, no strings attached, but we might be able to get some information from them by agreeing to be in one of the shows or something, and then we can disrupt it, and, we'll have to see how it plays out.
I was thinking more like we adjust the script.
I mean, that too. But as the goat said, what one was it? Play to a passion, stay on scripts, a cat, a horn, or a shadow ripped. Don't know what that last bit means, but the play to our passions and stay on script seems at least could be important. And the shadow ripped could be. That makes sense. The cat and the horn. Speaking of cats, don't we have a cat now? Like the zombie cat?
Ask Nox
Knock,
where
knock
they
it
put
downstairs.
where they put him.
I don't think anyone has fed it for quite some time, so
I mean,
we
it's-
may. It's
No,
already dead.
I've been keeping up with Glow.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay.
He's somewhere, and I just like reach into my like ruffles of like chest armor and pull out this cat.
Okay, that explains the smell.
Uh-huh.
It sleeps in the leaves. I don't know what it sleeps in when Nox is about, but it seems to
Well.
like it in there. It's all like, dead stuff like the cat.
Yeah, I mean, and I suppose the sort of cold you exude would slow any decomposition. In theory.
I didn't think of that, but cool. Yeah.
Is it moving? Cat?
I hope so. I'm just holding out the cat at the moment. Is it moving?
I'm not sure. It seems like everything seems to have frozen temporarily.
Because I know what I've got in my inventory, but I don't know how Nox got it. I'm gonna squeeze the cat.
Doesn't seem very responsive.
Chris has gone
No.
muted, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know. He said be right back. That's why I'm just trying to keep things
well,
going.
Because I'm expecting something to happen of that because of something in my inventory.
What else? What else? So, I'm trying to think if there's anything.
How else can we plan? Like you say you want to change the play, but how do we do that? Like, do we just improvise? I'm not good at improvising.
Well, it might not necessarily be improvising we need to do. We need to potentially stay on script, but change the tone of the play.
So do the exact same things with a lot of laughing and funny music?
I guess whatever fits. I mean, we don't know what the play is. I mean, there's also the chance we could, as Solomon said, alter the script somehow, but that would suggest that the script is written down. There's also this fool who seems to be feeding them lines, and that could be something we could interfere with. Maybe we could replace them with us to change the lines.
That, I suppose. I'm just hoping that someone else is, or so that we don't have to rely on our making jokes.
Well, if it comes to performance, you can leave that to me, I guess. But hopefully we can do it's all going to depend how this initial meeting goes, because we're obviously going there by the rules of hospitality, they can't harm us whilst we go in because we've gone in under invitation. But if there's ways of doing things without harming people. I mean, she can't imprison us technically, but you know, it all depends on what she has in mind, and
Well.
that's the difficulty. But I mean, I'll do my best to talk our way out of things like I have with the other two. Our main goal, other than our main goals, are probably to get out Burley, get out the Briganock, and yeah, and get, I suppose, find information towards our final destination, because Yon is the third of four, isn't it? And we need to get to that last place if we want to complete our goal, particularly your goal, of course, Rodolfo.
Well, that is ultimately my aim. I'm counting on the fact that we will have gone through 3 other kingdoms. That will make it
Exactly.
easier for me at the end.
Exactly. So if this was a story, it seems like every place we go, we find a guide to get us to the next place, or some. So we're either going to find a guide or find some information.
And hopefully find your memories, Clapperclaw says. You found one in each of the hag's layers so far.
That's true. We've got potentially the last bit remaining of Solomon Knox Hellier. We've got whatever number 4 is. We've got Xaxx's memories, and then we've got. Is that everything? Am I missing anyone? I think it's everything. How many bobs? Then
All right.
I suppose the other bit of useful information we need to find based on the letters is we need to find a name, the true name.
All right. With that, I'm going to describe for you what you see as you've been winding on this path for some time, walking, talking, and the craggy path does wend between the mountainside, and even here the sky is still dark and roiling with those clouds. In fact, I mentioned before that there was no flashes, but there is something that's illuminated as you're coming round the side of Motherhorn. You can see it crackling. And I'll describe that for you in a minute. But there is seemingly one thunder cloud still present here. But as you follow these little signposts, as you can see in the artwork, they do lead you all the way towards this massive castle. It looms above you, it almost reaching to the clouds above. Is this ominous grey citadel, and it is actually hewn out of the mountaintop itself. The path leading to it is winding and precipitous. You can also see wind swirling around the towers, and there seems to be like ravens clustered and cawing against its granite nooks. There is a crooked finger of lightning that seems to be just again streaking and striking around this metal rod that's protruding from the topmost spire. And you can also hear the sound of applause drifting over the citadel's battlements. The mountain path ends when you see before you this massive spiraling staircase that climbs probably 60 feet to a balcony made of weathered grey stone. Really get you some artwork. Yes. Here. Here is Motherhorn.
Ooh.
And you're seeing that from like a bird's eye view, but you're like way down below and to the left. But that's what I mean by like these twin spires rising up, actually built out of the mountain itself. Not only is the stage illuminated, but that thundercloud that seems to be crackling and roiling, it is actually attached and tethered to one of the higher stone balconies. And you realize as you kind of get closer, the flashing illuminates the metal wiring and framework. It is the large balloon that you spotted in Hither. And it is well beyond reach. The balloon still has that same merchant stall instead of the basket that's dangling from it. But it is clearly here, tethered to one of the highest towers and the balcony.
Is there anybody in or around the stage itself, the stage of the theater that we can see?
From where you actually are, you can't see the stage itself. You can see a sort of big metal framework on it, and you can definitely hear. But from where you are, right down below, can't actually see the stage itself. You'd have to go all the way up the spiraling staircase.
But are there is there any crew members or any servants kind of walking around doing busy work, that sort of thing?
Sound like by the sounds, you could probably hear something like that. Yes, like wires being pulled, stage equipment being rolled across a heavy wooden floor, and yeah, there definitely is some liveliness to the stage.
There are people
But
here.
yeah, you're having to sort of ascend step by step all the way around. It's not just dizzying from the vertigo as you rise up, but also dizzying from simply spiraling around and around. But it is not until you get to the very top where you see a door before you. The surface of it assumes the likeliness of a skull-faced hag with that small, thin veil thread over them. It also says, it literally says, as you approach, when you get right up next to it, the mouth kind of opens up like a bony, clattering jaw, and it says, "The Moon Twin is not welcome here. You didn't bring her, did you?"
I mean, do you see a moon twin with us?
We don't know anyone by that name.
The closest to moons we've got a dragon that likes the moon. But that's about it.
We have invitations, if it helps.
Yeah.
And Rodolfo pulls out his personalized invitation, brandishes it
As you
very
do,
importantly.
yeah, you kind of square it out and face it towards the door, and you see there is suddenly a glow. It's coming from the fancy scrollwork along the edges, and somewhere like around the hinges and seams. It seems to kind of go out of sight. But you showing this ticket seems as though the visage of this skull begins to split down the middle as the double doors begin to swing open, and revealing a decorated hallway in which you can hear discordant chamber music playing.
Should we be bringing gifts? Like well, not housewarming, but house welcoming gifts?
If you have something you would like to bring, but it is rules of hospitality, and we are guests. I think we are invited guests, so I hope it's not required. he starts digging through his pockets. I have some gems. If it comes down to that, we can use precious things.
Okay. I have an idea, and I'll be discussing an idea with Xaxx
Okay.
with his super cool pie tray.
All right. The passage forward ends with a black curtain at the end of this entrance hall. And I suppose I should really take you onto the map. Because you have finally arrived at Motherhorn. And should have mentioned something on your long rest. Seemed fitting. No, we'll hold off for now. Okay, so Motherhorn. Where is that map? There we go. Okay. I'm gonna have to grab your tokens. So bear with me a moment. There's quite a lot of you. Right. Here we go.
Not enough of us.
Tarquin, Solomon, Rodolfo, Xaxx, Tanwen, and finally there's Clapperclaw and Sopig with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Morgott? Or did Morgott go with?
Morgott is actually not with you.
No, Morgott is leading the other bunch at my orders.
Shall I bring out the elks again, or
Not for yet. Save your magic.
just to make Chris go a bit crazy? 8 more elks. Nah. I'll save it.
The elks were
Yeah.
pretty good, I have to say.
That it was.
Conjuring a herd of elks to do your battles for you is a nice trick.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Solomon,
idea is to make elks and then turn into one myself.
Mm-hmm.
Solomon,
Okay.
can
Can't
you
you do
do it
that
as a
already?
ritual?
Can I do it as a ritual?
Yeah,
Can I
is it
do it as a
it
ritual?
is it a
No, I
ritual?
don't
Mm,
think
Because
it
if it's a
is.
ritual,
No.
then we would want you to do it as a ritual to save your spell slots.
No, sadly not.
What would be useful is if we had someone powerful enough to then turn those elks into something. So you summon 8 elks and then turn them into like T-Rexes or something. I think
That would be cool.
I don't know if that would work, but it would be cool. Alright,
Laffy would be proud.
let's well, yeah. Carnival cards. Stand up straight, shoulders back. Let's walk in like we own the place.
Wait, do we own the place?
We have a
No.
right to be here. That is close enough.
Okay.
I was just
Yeah.
just
You're
walk
not
in with
one.
confidence.
Oh, okay.
Again, are there any servants, any other people here besides us? And the
Not
bell knocker thing?
not as of yet.
Hmm.
But you can definitely hear voices from the stage, which is perhaps just beyond that black curtain
Hmm.
at the end of this hallway.
Hmm.
Now, the hallway passes over the top of another passageway below. It's dimly lit by melted candles, and there's a staircase leading up to the left, and it also ends in a corridor and like blocked off with a black curtain. But you know what? You probably do spot someone, just a small goblin figure that is rushing from this side, and they seem to be just holding a bunch of masks and costumes in hand, and they seem to just simply speed on by, carrying all of this stuff, and they rush from the top of the stairs down, and then around the corner,
Hmm.
and yeah, they don't stop. Let me just Oh, here we go.
Oh, I was going to ask him a question, but he ran off before I had a chance. Oh well. As this is a curtain, Tarquin's just going to sort of tweak it aside and ever so slightly, just to be able to look through, not necessarily to reveal himself too much, and because he's not sure what's on the other side. Doesn't want
Rodolfo's
to
gonna
walk out onto
hide behind your
stage.
shoulder as you do that. You are my human shield.
Yep.
You can see this clearly kind of goes around a corner into a massive set of stairs, and you can see this definitely isn't the stage. There's seating areas and such.
Looks like this is the way into the audience, which is a good place to start. You should be, Xaxx. I can see you. Right. We all ready, everyone?
No, I can't actually see the map.
Really?
Okay, weird. Some reason you're stuck in Yon. I have activated this scene, but maybe just give it a reload and see if it pulls you back in.
Yeah. I'll just proceed ahead whilst we wait on that, I guess.
Oh god.
That's the curtain. So I'll describe for you anyway, Xaxx, as you draw back this velvet black curtain. You come witness to an open air amphitheater. It is carved from the slope of the mountaintop itself. There are short cloaked figures sitting on some of the tiered stone benches facing the stage. And enclosing the stage are 10-foot high stone walls, above which you can see this kind of cloudy dark sky. I would say it would be storming right now, but seems as though there's no crackling like this time. There is a team of masked goblins. They seem to be preparing the stage for some sort of play, whilst costumed actors huddle in the wings, and they seem to be reciting lines. And you can now immediately hear that's what that murmuring sound was all this time. The voices are being announced, and they get louder and louder as they seem to build up to some sort of moment in the play. And there is lighting provided by an intricate overhead contraption upon which there seems to be several more goblins that are perched. And you can hear the sounds of chains and clanking. Where's Xaxx going? Hold on. Did you... I think you might got lost. I'll drag you back this way.
Oh,
Unless you jumped off the balcony deliberately, but...
I think Tanwen got stuck in the wall.
Oh, really? I don't know how you get there. Alright, come on then.
I think possibly you had Xaxx and Tanwen selected, so when you were moving them, you moved them into the
Always
wall.
the case, isn't it? Alright. But aside from that, the sound of chains clanking and gears turning can be heard from somewhere underneath the mountain itself, like this a deep rumbling sound.
Important question. Do I recognize anything on the stage that from our own little adventure? Any costumes or lines or props or backgrounds?
Okay, yeah, just to make sure that something else isn't at
Well,
play
because
here.
I'm remembering that little marionette thing
Pageant.
was creeping me
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
True. Yeah, you probably just got that worry in your head that there's something else at foot. But thankfully, none of the characters look recognizable. There's a tiefling with a healthy amount of face paint. There is a goblin waving around a stick. Not really recognizing anyone, or the lines as well. The lines seem to be way over the top.
It's not a place that I know, but where I come from, the little town is not much for theater.
Oh.
In fact, you know what? Can you roll me a D8, Rodolfo, and we'll see exactly what play is happening right now.
It's Hamlet.
1. Okay. The goblin is again waving his stick and angrily shouts, "No, no! You got the lines wrong again. This is the tragedy at twilight, not the lament of the suckling boar. And you see
Twilight.
a bright light suddenly appears above, almost like a spotlight, and the tiefling is wearing a kind of wedding gown, and the light seems to glow bigger and brighter, and seemingly causes this whiteout upon the stage. And suddenly you see a couple of other goblins nearby. They shake a load of, what are they called? Like big card panels, and it creates the sound of like thunder. And then there's this loud crash from behind the stage as well. And as this whiteout happens, and your eyes adjust again, you see all the actors laying on the stage, seemingly killed by whatever this bright, powerful flash was. And there's like rubble and debris of some sort of like paper mache meteor on the ground. No, I can see you breathing, Granum. You're supposed to be dead. Dead! And he whacks him on the top of the head with a staff.
It's quite difficult to pretend to be dead, Tarquin comments. It's hard to get that shallow breathing right. Lots of practice.
He perhaps doesn't hear you from this far and is too preoccupied in berating the poor actors.
Tarquin sort of considers this for a moment. Looks like it's time to start the improvisation on my part as well, and Tarquin is just gonna wander over to the actors and just be like, "Hey there, you must be the stage manager, I would guess, or the director?"
They sort of snap their attention towards you, and they look over and like, well, who are you? Wait, you're not even in costume yet.
No, well, I received an invitation to attend here, but I saw you speaking with your cast here, and I just thought I'd come over, and as a bit of a seasoned stage performer myself, I thought maybe I might be able to give them some tips. You know, the whole shallow breathing thing, you know, is quite a tricky one to pull off.
You think you can do better, hmm?
I mean, I can certainly give it
a... He snatches the invitation if you're getting close enough. Kind of hops down. Oh, you come to see her. Well. He kind of thinks for a moment. Normally, she comes to see us. It's we who have to put on the performance.
Yeah.
No one just waltzes in here with a free audience. They have to earn it, like all of us did. And he angrily tears up your ticket.
Well, I mean, I feel I've earned an audience. I mean, I've had some rather good conversations with the other two, so thought I'd earned a right to speak to the third. But okay, in your opinion, how would one earn an audience? Like, come on, talk to me. Give me the skinny. Give me the 411, whatever it is.
He folds his hands and his hat tips to the side. You can hear a little jingle from a set of bells that seem to be at the top of a jester's hat. Well. You've already pronounced yourself the quite the actor. I say we put your money where your mouth is.
Oh, I can certainly give it a go. I mean, all of your people seem quite practiced, but they seem to be, as you said, fumbling with the lines, so getting their plays mixed up.
Your Majesty, you should not have to go through this to gain an audience.
Oh, no.
People petition for audiences with you.
That's true,
And
that's true.
They come from far and wide to petition your Majesty. Why are you tolerating this level of disrespect from these little people? Do you want me just to kill them? and put them out of our
Well,
misery?
well,
Little people?
the temptation is there. The temptation is there, my dear Tanwen, but after all, we're in their place of work. Showing some respect is only courteous, but I merely wanted to offer some help. But it seems that this goblin thinks they're a bit above their station. They think that just because they're in charge of the stage, that makes them in charge of me. Isn't that fun?
I can cut them down to an even smaller size, Your
So,
Majesty.
Mr.
You just issue the world.
So, Mr. Goblin, what do I call you?
He is pretending not to hear half of this, and he pulls away what looks to be like an ear horn from his head, and he says, "I'm sorry, hard of hearing. That's why I'm shouting so loudly. You'll have to save all those titles and waffle for some other person, but right here, I'm afraid you're talking to Zolt."
Zolte. Lovely name. Sure, I've heard that name before somewhere. I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard your name. Your plays are pretty famous from what I've heard. But it seems, as I said,
You've heard of me? Really?
Yeah. I mean, I've wondered about yon. I've wondered about hither and thither. You know, you hear a few things, and people have said that if you want to go to a play, that Zolt's the play to go to.
His demeanor suddenly kind of like shifts from quite angry and aggressive to like, oh well, huh. I had no idea. Well, I'm humbled. Please, introduce yourselves.
Right. Well, I am Tarquin, leader of the Carnival Cards, monarch of Witchlight. But obviously, titles aren't that important on the stage. It doesn't matter who you are or where you've come from. It merely matters what part you play in the stage, doesn't it? And as the director, at least I assume that's your role, you have the most important role of all, trying to get everything working and in order, right? And it's
I wouldn't say I'm the director. Well, the
stage
I am
manager.
for this one.
Yeah, you seem a guy who's in charge, and when he seems like the guy who wants the play to go well. You know, got a bit of
The
pride
play
in
has
your
to
work.
go well.
Pride in your work.
It has to. If the play doesn't go well, then we're all punished.
Right.
It's bad news if the play is. Yeah.
Right. So
bitter end will have your head otherwise.
All right. So this is the tragedy of Twilight. You said, from what I can see, not one I've heard of personally, but from what I can see, meteorite impact kills everyone, and then is that basically it?
It is. I'm thinking of scrapping this one though. We've got much better potential with the others.
Yeah, that's true, but
And telepathically, I'm asked Tarquin, can he ask to elaborate on the story of this one?
Yeah.
Like what's that about?
Yeah, this particular story, though, I feel like it's got some impact to it. Would you mind elaborating a bit on what it is? I might have some ideas. You know, an outsider's perspective can sometimes see some, you know, because sometimes you get so lost in your own work that you miss something obvious until someone else points it out.
Well, it's really simple. There's an omen about this wedding. This couple is, they didn't receive the blessing to be married from either set of parents, but they went ahead with the marriage anyway. An old sage said that this would bring about a terrible, terrible future for all of the kingdom. And they just poo-pooed all that went ahead with the marriage anyway. But of course, the omen comes true, and a meteor crashes into the wedding and kills everyone.
Wow. I mean, damn. The people, they really should have paid attention to that sage. I mean, I know they say love conquers all, but I mean, if you've got...
No, it is the tragedy. It is they have been warned and they know what to do, but they cannot help themselves. This is the very essence of hubris.
Yes.
Am I right, Mr. Sorry, your name was
Zolt?
Zolt. Yes, the purest form of tragedy, when you know exactly what will happen and yet it happens anyway. It is beautiful.
Yes.
By the way, who decides which play will be put on? Are you the one who chooses?
Well, we could sort of choose together which one is best going to please Enderlin's tastes this evening. Sometimes she prefers a darker comedy. Others she prefers a sort of what's the word? Depressing drama. It really depends on her mood, but most of them have darker, sadder endings.
And this Twilight Tragedy, is this one you've put on before for them, or is this a new one that you're trying to bring to life?
No, we've played this one before.
Did it go over well?
Well, she often likes to sort of steal the show sometimes, and with everyone kind of being dead at the end so suddenly, it didn't leave much room for her own input. As a result, she sort of left her balcony without much of an applause.
Well, what if we put in a part for her?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So obviously, you've got this sage who foretold this, and you've obviously got the moon or the meteorite impact. What if you had some sort of maybe an onlooker say something like, if only they had listened to the wise sage, then the god's wrath would not have come upon them. And that would be like her cue to come in and be like, represent that god figure, to be like, yes, all should listen. To go against parents' wishes is to bring about destruction. You know, something.
That is a twist I hadn't thought of.
Something like that, you know?
No, that's an interesting twist. It could work. Sort of scratches the side of his head. Yeah. We get some props here. Straighten your back, Helgala. Don't slouch. Oh, he turns back and goes, right. Think this could work. So we sort of begin with like an epilogue and invite a greater power, a god-like being, to come down and spout the lessons, the morals that they should have learned.
Yeah, exactly. And that way that gives her part, and it's a really important part. It elevates her, and also the story still goes across. You've got that tragedy, you've got these two lovers whose love was lost forever. I mean, perhaps if they had been willing to listen and willing to wait, they might have been able to bring their parents to side and get their blessing, but we don't know that, of course. I don't know the full story. There may have been, you know, for all I know, it was an Asimar and a Tiefling wanting to get married, and of course that's never going to work. They're just too different. But I feel like there's some potential there, because after all, if a sage just being like, yeah, if you two get married, then something bad's gonna happen. If you add in like a line, then if you two get married against your parents' wishes, it will anger the goddess blah blah blah. And then, you know, that gives you that earlier introduction to the fact that there's a higher power involved, and then you bring that higher power in at the epilogue.
All right, let's do it.
Alright.
He seems convinced.
I will leave you to it. He sort of has a look at his invitation and is just like, well, she knows she sent it.
Sure.
So I'll just say that there was incident on the way and it got damaged, and yeah. But I look forward to potentially watching your performance. Zolt, take the full credit for the idea. You know, I want your name to spread, because honestly, I can definitely see potential in it. So I'll leave you to it.
All right, yeah, he's already scribbling on a lectern, trying to get the right introduction for her. What are the rest of you doing whilst Tarquin speaks to Zolt? Just sort of looking around or waiting?
I'm looking for an assistant.
An assistant. Okay. I
Someone
mentioned there
who-
was a couple of dark cloaked figures on the steps. They've been eyeing you as you've been sitting here.
Do they look like they work for Motherhorn? For Endelin?
Well, I'll tell you what. They look like Trinket and Bauble from the balloon. The same sort of skin texture, and they've even got like hoods trying to obscure their faces.
Okay. Hello?
But as you get closer to them, Solomon, you can tell it's not them. But they kind of look at you almost as if you're batshit insane for just walking right up to them.
Oh, hi. Do you do caricatures as well?
What do you think?
Yes.
One of them, like, grimaces, goes to like pull something out behind their cloak, and the other one holds up their hand as if to stop him. Looks like he was like about to like grab onto like a hilt or something. And he says, hold on. This guy's clearly lost. He has no idea who he's messing with.
I bet.
We are simply audience members.
Oh, okay, you're not who I'm looking for, but you looked like someone I met a while back. They had a storm balloon.
Ah, yes. We're darklings, like her. I'm guessing you met her. Charm? That's her balloon.
Charm? No, bauble and trinket.
He looks to the other one. Oh, right. Her underlings. They're forgettable.
Do you know where I can find, like, someone who works for Endelin?
They look at each other. Why?
Well, I have like a
You have
welcoming
business?
present. Well, I have an audience, but also I was hoping to give a gift of appreciation for the entry to this theater and show.
I'll go fetch someone.
Thank
Stay
you.
here.
I'll be. Oh wait, you said okay.
He promptly steps up and around you. He doesn't lose eye contact though until he's out of the amphitheater. The other one stands up and he clearly he's still got his like hand within his cloak, but he hasn't drawn anything. He's just staring at you.
I just shout over to Xaxx. Hey Xaxx, I think I made some friends.
Oh, are they? They work here?
No, but they're going getting someone who does.
Okay. So they're going to do some work, although they don't work here.
Oh, now that you put it like that, maybe I've done something wrong.
No, I think maybe they weren't being fully truthful to you.
Okay,
Hey,
we're friends, right? As I turn back round to the other guy.
He just says nothing. He just stares at you. You
Oh,
can probably see his knuckles grow whiter though.
oh, has this one spoke yet?
Uh,
Or was it just the other one that spoke?
he did. Yeah, he did.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay. It's not long then before a dark cloaked figure returns and seems to be at the doorway with another goblin, and this one is da, da, da. This one is wearing a he's wearing a little colorful outfit. He's got this large wooden staff in hand, and at the very end of it, it's got this big goblin head with this cartoonish like grin on it. He's got this colorful pink top hat. I'm trying to guess the color because I'm actually unsure myself. I'm gonna say it's pink, but he's got these little jester bells as well, kind of dangling from the top. Quite short, even for a goblin, but that might be because he's kind of like stooped over, almost like a bit hunchbacked, and he looks up at you with these big, wide, bulging eyes. And after the guy kind of points you out, he approaches, and then he grins with these gnarly, sharp, needle-like teeth. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to
Hello.
Motherhorn.
Do
Yes.
you work for Enderlin?
Yes, yes, we've been expecting you.
Oh, yeah. Well, were they expecting a welcoming gift as well?
Oh no, no.
Oh,
This is more than enough. Your presence is all that is required, yes.
oh, but I made something for Enderlin.
Oh,
Is it?
what is it?
So basically, I've made a potato bag of disappearance. I mixed in quotation marks dust of disappearance into this potato bag. That creates one potato a day.
This is him, by the way.
Oh,
Potatoes. Oh,
but don't use it up. It only has one use. If you open it, it's gone, and then it's worthless as a
seems to
present.
be smiling from ear to ear. Well, this will be perfect for the ceremony. Yes. Oh, well, speaking of which, I am stage fright.
Stage fright?
Yes, I'm the theatre goblin's master of ceremonies. I'm
Oh,
also in charge of running a few errands for Endelin.
okay. Well, I hope she enjoys the disappearing potatoes.
Yes, I'm sure she will. Now, are you with the others? Yes. Ah, you're all here. Perfect.
Ah, okay. That I don't know whether to. You sound a little menacing.
No, no, it's just the way I deliver the line from the side.
Hmm. I mean,
I'm
if you
always sort of in character, you see, just method acting for the next villain.
so are you like a horror performer, or are you not supposed to be like scared to speak in front of people?
Best you don't think about it too much.
Oh,
Just know that I'm very, good at what I do.
Okay. Thank. I appreciate your help. And
Now
goodbye.
he just stares at you, kind of looking a little tad confused.
Don't open it. She can
He just
identify it if she wants, but don't open it.
sure. He doesn't move a single space, but you're
Okay.
free to go back to the others.
I'll let you know what it is in Discord, Chris.
Okay, yeah, because I'm thinking something out of game that you've made, bizarrely. All right.
Take it.
So did
So you head back to the
learn
others.
anything? Did they tell you anything interesting about
There's
the
going
witches?
to be a ceremony.
A ceremony, like a welcoming ceremony,
Um.
like a sacrifice.
Well, he's called stage fright, so maybe it's. I don't know. Now that you mention it, it could be a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Which one of you would you pick if we were going to be having to give a sacrifice? Would it be Clapperclaw?
Squirt, I think.
Squirt.
Don't tell him I
Okay.
said so, but he's the only one who's an oil can.
I guess you could sacrifice what he has and then just fill him back up.
Well, it's repairable, is what I'm thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not such the case with other people.
I mean, all we'd need to do for Clapperclaw is get some more straw. But then if we sacrificed him, that might be the last straw.
Very good. Very good. If I do detect magic around this area, do I see anything suspicious or unexpected in a theater? Like divination magic or illusion magic is probably normal.
No, not
Nothing
out of the
physically
ordinary.
weird.
No.
Okay. Okay, so then I'm just going to poke around and I still want to figure out what the whole deal is with this theater. I don't quite get it. So I'm just going to poke around and see what the crew is doing, and you know what kind of play it is, and if they seem to be willing participants, and if there's evidence of what happens with other stories. You know, are there posters? Are there reviews?
There are other posters sort of depicting the other types of plays, and it seems among them you can spot the tragedy at twilight, though there are plenty of other sort of famous or favorited ones here as well. Ones being the weird one about the suckling bull I mentioned earlier. Then you've got, let's have a look. Okay, so there's the Only Fools Knock Twice, and there seems to be a picture depicting 3 sailors, and they seem to be shipwrecked in the ocean, and they're all clinging to a coffin. And there's another one that says the Lich King's Revel, which is, it seems to be like weighing. There seems to be a picture of a lich, and in the background there seems to be a big party. You can see balloons and like cake, but he does not look to be in the slightest bit enjoying it. And in the corner of the picture, you can also see there's some sort of stitched together flesh-like being as well. Very odd. Love Unsoiled, which is it's, you can see a woman seems to be kind of in front of a lineup of men, almost like she's trying to pick the perfect kind of suitor. And then in amongst the line of people, you can see this ghoulish-looking individual that's just like clearly a zombie with grave dirt still over them, and her eyes seem to be fixated on this one. and I could go on. There's A Village No More. There's Blight Straws Fall. An Island of Death in an Ocean of Tears. There's plenty of plays to look on
I
and
mean,
see.
I must admit, the upcoming season seems very interesting, but I don't know what to make of it. I guess it's just kind of gruesome and sad and morbid. Uh,
It seems to be the general theme.
yeah. Can I go and talk to some of the actors and like just kind of make general chit chat and pretend like I know I know the theater, like one of those obnoxious
Oh,
patrons
yeah,
who's like, oh yes, you're doing this one, eh? Yes, I
sure.
used to do that when I was at college and that sort of
It
thing.
looks like the actors do have a moment to pause between the rehearsal as Zolt is scribbling down the next epilogue. So yeah, they're probably like taking a small break, and yeah, you can chat to them. They sort of congregate around here near this entrance. So yeah, sure. You kind of wander over.
Wait, sorry, which entrance? I missed. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are leaning up against the wall, and others are sort of readjusting their costumes.
Yeah, so I'm exactly I'm portraying the I'm trying to portray the picture of like the guy who, you know, was in a play once in his first year of college and thinks that he's like an expert, and so he's trying to like be all pro with the pros. Uh so
Yeah.
oh yeah, I see you got some rigging and some yeah, rolling props. That's very good. Live props, eh? Wow. Interesting. Uh you have union guys on that or what?
They look over you and tilt their head. They're like, "Huh? Wait, are you part of the inspection team? Were you part with? Are you with what are the like costume department? Who are you?"
Oh, me? I'm just an appreciator. You know, I'm something of a theater kid
Oh,
myself. You know, used to treading the boards and all the rest of it. Uh,
oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. How did you guys come to be part of this here troupe, little gang of actors?
Uh, well, you see one of the shorter individuals is quite a stout-looking dwarf, and he speaks up first, and he says, Heligar Sunlost. I'm all the way from Orth, if you've heard of them mountains.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah. We played there once in my senior year.
Granum here. He's from a world known as Eberron,
Ever.
and over there that's Alanis. She is from a world known as Kryn. We come from all over the place, distant places far and wide. All come from different walks of life, lured in by the wonder and awe of the stage, the magic that happens. That's
Yeah.
what we that's what we came here for.
The call of the footlights. I know it well. Yes, yes. And then you make a decent money here. What's the audience like? You know.
Did you say money?
Well, yeah, you know, wages, or is it a tip-based thing, or
Uh,
you get a
he
daily per
sort
diem?
of scratches his beard. I can't say we got much income from this, but well, a bitter end has promised us at least some favors,
Yeah. Specific
and
favors?
right. She's quite powerful,
Mm.
so we're hoping to climb the ranks, and you know,
So
maybe
like,
she can get a word in with some other big stages out there.
oh, I see. It's about the connections.
Yes,
It's
connections, eh?
good to know the right people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, what did she tell you that she would introduce you, or you just kind of hoping?
Well, yeah, hopefully we'll get an audience one day when we put on the performance of a lifetime. Then she'll be impressed. She won't be able to say no.
She sounds like a tough customer. She ever
I
give you trouble when you're performing? You know, yes.
I wouldn't say trouble. He kind of looks left and right, but she's not the most. He kind of whispers, pleasant, but
No, does she chew loudly during the scenes or what? Some
no.
people
If
are
only
so
that was
rude.
it.
Oh.
No, she's quite. She's got like quite a threatening aura about her, but she has this tendency to sort of steal the show, and in a way that's kind of leaves everyone feeling a little uncomfortable. I'll be honest.
But she
But you
steals
don't
the show
just
from the audience. That's
from the audience
unusual.
balcony. Up there. He points way up above, like some 60 feet to a distant balcony. She usually sits up there, not during the rehearsals, but when the actual play is on. Yeah, she's looking over. Can feel her cold gaze even all the way down on the stage.
Really? Why, for censorship or what? We used to have a dean who would censor us. He would watch all the rehearsals in case of foul language. It was very upsetting.
Not censoring it, but more just, I don't know, feels like an unseen pressure. At least maybe that's all internalized because we're trying to impress her.
Is she looking for something specific? Do you think? Does she give constructive feedback?
Well, that's the trouble, and we're not really sure if any of us can really nail the tastes that she's into. It varies from day to day. She almost feels like she knows what's coming. It's like no one can really surprise her with something new. It's always almost her like rolling her eyes and huffing and sighing at each performance. Someone really has to do something unique to be able to really impress her.
Huh. Interesting.
I think that's why she comes down and changes it up herself.
She
I don't
trying
know.
to surprise herself? I don't think it works that way, but you
He shrugs.
never know your luck. Well, I yeah, that's a tough gig. That's a tough gig. What can I say? I prefer the classics myself for exactly that reason. You know what kind of reaction you're going to get every time.
I'm sure we'll get our moment. I'm sure we'll get our chance. I mean, I've heard stories of many of who've impressed her, and they've been gifted many blessings or
Really?
trinkets.
They became
Aye,
famous. Would I know of
famous.
anyone?
Have you heard of the Greyhawk murmurs? Mummers, even.
I have actually. Yes.
Aye, see, they were all the talk of this theatre, but I think they almost got too big for their boots. I don't know whether they've got onto bigger stages, but they haven't come back to this little rocky outcrop.
I see. And again, she didn't promise you anything specific, like you didn't make any kind of deal or sign a contract.
Oh yeah, we've not had the opportunity to have a bargain.
No agent, eh?
No.
That's a shame.
She doesn't talk to anyone unless they've got an invitation. A stage fright usually escorts them. In fact, he's over there. And I don't know why, but he seems to be staring at you.
At me? Oh my goodness. How
Well,
embarrassing.
all of you.
Well,
Have you got business
we
with
are
him?
new faces here.
Mm.
You know what stage managers are like. They always have to have their nose in everyone's business.
Aye. Yeah, you look like you're a sore thumb in this kind of gloomy environment. So that might be it.
Not my usual scene, I will admit. But no, it's interesting. I've never seen any theater quite like this before, I must say. But how long have you been here anyway?
How long is a piece of string? Time is hard to dictate in this place, but I could probably say at least a year or so. That's for the others. I can't speak for the others, but they sort of shrug themselves as well.
And do you remember
see.
before you came here?
Aye, I do remember Oath. I remember the deep thrum of the mountains. I remember the great halls of my kin, but it's a long distant memory, I could say.
Would you ever want to
Scratches
go
his
back?
head for a moment. Sorry.
Would you ever want to go back?
Um, I kind of put a lot of effort into this, and you see the other goblin kind of pipes up and says, "I think they call that sunken cost fallacy or something."
Oh yes.
Yeah, we've all been here so long that to turn away now without nothing would mean what was it all for? It would feel like a waste of time.
Yeah,
So
they do call it a fallacy for a reason, my friend. But I understand where you're coming from. The thinking there is hard to escape.
and the last female human speaks up and she says, "Escape." Huh. Yeah, if only. Not everyone is here just to impress. Some are trying to pay off a debt.
Oh really? So you do get wages? So it must be good money if you stay around.
It's not that kind of debt. Not a monetary one, but
Oh.
I'd rather not talk about it. She
Of
sort of
course.
turns away and avoids eye contact. Anyway, I've got to get back to rehearsals.
Right, of course. Don't let me catch you. Keep you. I mean, back a leg and all of that. And he'll kind of saunter off in the other direction.
Son-in-law speaks up and says, "Sorry about Elenis. But yeah, some are here for different reasons. Most of them are all moping around in the what's it called? The performers lounge, if you can call that a lounge. There's quarters past the. He kind of points down and gestures in this direction. There's loads of us, not just us three. Most of them are, like I say, in the performers' quarters, moping away, sulking, or whatever have you.
But not you.
No, you've fortunate enough to come across one of the few who still has some hope in this theater, but I won't lie, my fire is flickering out steadily. This place, it seems to have like a toll on you.
I'm sure it has an atmosphere with that particular audience. I don't blame you at all. But
It's hard to put on a brave face,
Aye.
literally.
Well, keep your chin up, and it's all worth it for the art, right? You don't forget your dream, what you're doing it for.
Aye. All right. I didn't catch your name, by the way. Was it
Basco.
Vasco? All right. Nice. Well, nice meeting you. And he also gets called back over, by Zolt. He's like, right, break time over. We got this epilogue to try out. And he turns up towards a crane and goes, Speckle Nose, my dear, are you ready? And you see another female goblin kind of almost upside down in the rafters, hanging from wires and ropes, give out a thumbs up. Yep. And yeah, they seem to like, she seems to be in charge of like winding back the meteor up onto the crane. But yeah, there you go.
So
Had a little
I'll go
chat
I'll
with
go
the
back
ex.
to I'll go back to Tarquin and Tanwen and I don't know if Solomon and Xaxx are there, but just report back that some people seem to have come with the promise of something, and some people are obviously in deals of their own in terms of crew. So they may
Yes.
not necessarily
Have,
be enemies.
have they gotten bad deals like a lot of the characters we run into so far? Or did you get a sense of that?
It's hard to tell, but even the ones who came here willingly didn't seem to be very happy about it. I
Okay.
didn't talk to. There are some other actors apparently in the lounge where they have made deals or they have debts apparently. So my guess would be yes, but if you want to talk to them, we can.
No, I trust you, Rodolfo, and I should probably stand here since I established myself as Tarquin's bodyguard
Yeah.
and just look menacing and easily pissed off.
The other thing, Tarquin, is that they mentioned that Endelyn seems to be looking for something specific, like, or maybe not specific, but she's looking. She wants to be surprised, and she seems to be bored of everything that she has seen so far. She doesn't like anything that she has seen. She's a very typical customer. They don't know what she wants, but she wants something exciting and new.
Which is probably why she keeps interfering and trying to steal the show.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if that helps you, but
It's given me a few ideas, and now that I have an idea of the play that's going on, I might have a few ideas to discuss with you, Sopig, but for now, I suppose, just trying to think, is there
Are
anything?
you coming or what?
Yes. Hold your horses. You might be scared of the stage, but I enjoy it.
Right. You've all got your invitations, yeah?
Well, does it matter if mine got torn up and is being magically repaired?
He just stares unblinking, wide-eyed at you.
Got a little damaged in transit, unfortunately, but it's been repaired. It's all in one piece now. No obvious signs of it, but
Wait, did you actually mend it somehow?
Yeah, Rodolfo has mending.
Oh, Rodolfo mended it. Perfect. Yeah, well then it's untouched. Looks
Yep.
at the ticket. Looks fine to me.
Yep, that's good. Then lead the way, Mr. Fright.
Stage fright, yes. Well, as you've all been granted an audience, we can simply skip the formalities for now. Now, I must ask, all of you who are carrying weapons, you must, relinquish them before gaining an audience with Bitterin.
That is fair. In the case of my lovely bodyguard, fantastic job they do, would them just giving up their arrows for their
Arrows.
bow be suitable, and they keep the bow? They're kind of attached. It's kind of a personal sentiment. You can't do much with a bow by itself.
Roll me a persuasion check, Tarquin. Not had a roll in a while. Hey, pretty good. No arrows,
That's
just
fair.
bow.
That's fair. We can do that. You coming,
Very
Xaxx,
well.
or are you wanting to stay out here?
You stay for a while at the raised stage, but keeping an eye out where the darkest of shadows are in the niches and crannies, but doesn't seem like any of the shadows are shifting or moving.
Just so I'm understanding the perspective of this stage, is this like moon part that's raised, is that attached to this wooden bit?
Yes. This wooden part is like a dome shape. Like
Yeah.
it's a curve that goes from one side all the way to the other. So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay, right. That was just for
Okay.
I was just trying to understand the physics of the place a bit better. Could come in handy, right? Let's go meet her.
Okay.
Does she have a title we should refer to her as? Just so I'm aware. Stage fright, or do we just refer to her by name?
You, as outsiders, yes. She goes by many names. Creeping Lynn, Bitter End. Creeping Lynn is an endearing one. Yes, go with Creeping Lynn.
Can I roll an insight check on him because I'm worried he's trying to get me into trouble?
Yeah, sure, go ahead. He's got this devilish like grin and the bug eyes that seem to just be staring at you unblinking is unnerving as well. He clearly is some sort of creep who's hiding something, but you actually get the impression that Creeping Lynn is actually not an insult to her, but
Okay.
with these hags, because you've actually noticed this before. When someone called the previous hag ugly, I think it was you were talking to like. I think you were talking to Pavlorna Blightstraw, and someone called her like an ugly bitch or something, and she said, "Oh, flattery will get you nowhere." So yeah, you get the impression these hags revel in the fact that you can call her something nasty. They see it as a compliment because they embody that misery and corruption.
That is fair.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Bitter End though, I will say though, Bitter End, you've definitely heard people who hate her more than anyone call her Bitter End.
Yeah.
Creeping Lynn is more of an endearing term if you know her a bit more
Yes.
closer. But as for like this guy's general demeanor, he does seem to be. He seems to know something. Like maybe he knows you're already in trouble. Maybe he already knows why you've come here and why you've been invited because you were gathering an army and she took notice. So he can tell there's some sort of anticipation on his face. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, he begins to lead you. I'm gonna grab up all your tokens, gather you up. Easier if you're just all in the same spot, actually.
I actually found out recently you can just like drag a folder onto the thing and it'll put all the tokens down.
Yep, you can do that.
Which I only found out recently, which has saved me a bit of time.
Wow. Let's take you to all the way up here. My goodness.
So
Okay.
one in theory, excluding the Jabberwock, could be the final boss in theory.
Who? Endlin?
Yeah, I mean, in a way, because, you know, the three hags. We don't know of any other big threats other than the Jabberwock, so... I mean, we don't know what's in the palace yet, but...
Yeah, true. Okay.
I also get the feeling that Enderlin is probably the eldest of them.
Probably.
Not
Yeah.
Granny.
I don't know why. Enderlin...
It's the future, so probably the oldest.
Yeah.
So he has to take you up a set of spiraling staircases.
Are you for real?
And he no, yes I am.
Are
He
you for
keeps
real?
apparently. Anyway, he continues to go up and up these staircases. It's another spiral, so it feels dizzying, and you must be getting to the very top of the tower at this point before You come out over the top of this balcony, and I'll place you
For
here.
like the artifice and stuff you've got around here, have you considered installing an elevator? Like some sort of like pulley system to lift up a platform so people don't have to walk up all these stairs?
We will eventually, once we gather enough friends
Ah, that's
to
fair.
help us pull that off.
That's fair. I was just making suggestions, trying to be helpful as I go.
Perhaps you will be such friends in the future. Yeah.
Certainly a possibility. I'm always willing to make new friends.
Well, excellent. Come, let's see if Endelyn is awaiting you. I'll just check to see if she's ready. He does step up to a set of doors, and
What is this?
down below from here, yeah, there's a massive balcony. Yeah, whilst he's just opens up the door and passes in, you can look down and see exactly what I will describe. The contraption below is some sort of spinning metal framework, and at the end of each handle, there seems to be some sort of depiction of a celestial body, either a moon or sun, etc. But there's a kind of clanking and cranking noise to it that's always in motion. But you can everyone make me a perception check as you're looking at this. There is something odd about it. Okay.
Couple of 23s in there. Couple of 20s.
Okay, cool. Not bad. Okay. So I will describe exactly what you see first, and then I'll go into details. The cylindrical chamber seems to house this, like I say, whirring contraption. It's bolted to a revolving metal disc that serves as its base. And the metal spheres and sickles that are attached to the long ends of the metal arms seem to sweep back and forth, clicking loudly and rhythmically like the hands of a ginormous metronome. But it appears as though Tarquin and Xaxx, you're picking up on the fact that, and Rodolfo actually, they're picking up on the fact that this metronome is just ever so slightly slowing down. It's not the same rhythm. There's definitely a space that's getting longer and longer between each click. And you can also, you three, make out there seems to be some inlaid characters or strange alphabet. You're not sure if they're like a rune or something, but from here where they're spinning, you can't quite make out what they say or mean. Plus, these let off smoky wisps that like rise in the shape of the letters from the contraption as it revolves, and they sort of dissipate in the air. But the whole device is humming and crackling with faint lightning. Say faint, it would have been fierce, but someone dealt with the weather. Rising from the middle of the mechanism is an 80-foot tall copper pole made of an 10-foot long lightning rod, and that's what you're seeing right in front of you as well. It extends all the way up past this ring-shaped gallery that you're standing on and goes into the upper level through a hole some 50 foot high in a domed ceiling.
Recognizing that this is a lightning rod, Xaxx is going to step as far back from it as he can against the wall.
Oh, yeah, you step up against the wall. There's no shadow behind you.
Looking at it, you mentioned there were celestial bodies on each of the arms, and it's slowly ticking down. Does it look like there is a symbol for the sun and the moon which might overlap at some point, and can we work out when that will be?
Okay. Well, have a little look for yourself as I'm going to show you the artwork for this.
Holy Crap, that is more
Ooh.
complicated than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
That is an orrery of tragedy.
Huh.
Okay.
There only seems to be maybe 2 that might. No, there's plenty.
There's lots of moons.
Yeah, there's lots of moons, but
Only one sun.
yeah, I'm guessing
Or is it-
this is the sun, like up in the top right.
Mm-hmm.
But
Hmm.
there's only one moon with a face. So I'm wondering if
So
that's the moon.
I'm guessing that the runes are. Is it like a calendar? Like, is it that type of astronomical implement? Would I be able to tell?
Okay. Well, let me see.
I mean, this could also be a sun, I guess, but
You could. You've got actually. You have got detect magic on. So,
Mm.
but it's some distance down from you. You're sort of seeing this from the gallery up top. And he led you past this level already, up that spiral staircase.
Mhm.
So, if you want to try and figure out what they are, I'm gonna ask for like an Arcana check.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try.
You're the only
I
one.
mean,
Sort of,
knowing that the stars are used to calculate time and calendars and things, I'm gonna be kind of looking at with that angle in mind. I don't know if 19 is enough to give me that.
the symbols are not of. Well,
Okay.
they're not of a language, maybe, but they rather perhaps resemble runes of an arcane nature, like divination.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's not
divination runes
unexpected.
are definitely prevalent.
what I
Okay.
thought. I'm guessing when, at least this is me theorizing, I'm guessing when it's like wisping up or something, that's almost like the actual fortune or the future that it's reading. You just have to be able to interpret it, possibly.
Sees the future. So
Hmm.
how does it work? And what is that ticking? Is it?
No,
Does it
it's a
feel like it's counting down, or does it feel like it's running out of battery?
I would guess the latter. It seems like it's a mechanical device powered by the lightning rod, and obviously,
And of course, the lightning. Yes.
so.
Yes. That's good.
But
Mr. Freit, what happens if it runs out of power and it stops?
Seem to be so concentrated on the aura that you turn around to realize he has actually left. And
oh yeah, he went to
he's gone
go
off to check.
with
Oh, right.
Endlin.
Yeah.
Huh.
I did not notice.
Yeah.
If we weren't waiting on him, I'd be tempted to jump down there and check it out personally, but
She could be here any second.
exactly. But
Tarquin, please don't. That's making me so dizzy with my sinuses. I don't know if I could go down and get you.
yeah, well, I can.
I can't even
Tanwen, do you
look.
need a quick lesser restoration or something?
No, save it, save it. We've got a big battle coming on,
Well, potentially.
and I don't mind dripping from my nose as long as I'm dripping from my arteries. But thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, looking at this, looking at the image, there's like a moon with a face and a sun with a face, which I'm gonna guess are the representation of the sun and the moon, whereas the others might be lesser moons or other planetoids or something. But those seem to be quite distinctly like representative of figures almost. Does it look like those are due to overlap anytime soon?
Hard to tell, but possibly. They seem to be spinning at a slower rate and slower and slower. At this point, your best guess is that they won't pass before they've come to a full stop. Especially with that metronome sound getting slower and slower as well. It seems to match the same cater as the spinning. celestial bodies.
Tarquin sort of just looks at his fist for a moment and it's just like, I could give it a little bit of an extra charge. But I'll save that.
I don't know if it's actually a good idea or not.
Well,
Did the sun and the moon, the main sun and main moon, look like they're on a path to intersect and would be able to see where that point would be?
Um,
Like if they're
A
both,
path to
if we can
intersect.
see that they're heading into if their paths are going to cross at some point, we'll be able
Yeah.
to tell where that point is.
With them slowing down, no, it'd be tricky. But if they were going at like a consistent pace,
Yeah.
then you might be able to count ahead and figure it out. But with the way they're kind of slowing down, it's like guessing where a needle or a bottle ends up when it's
Yeah.
spinning. It's a
Well,
little bit tricky to
I
determine.
kind of want to figure out where they're supposed to end up, not where they will actually end up, if that makes sense. Like, if we hadn't killed the lightning, where would they have gone?
Right. Your best guess is like somewhere pointing like 12 o'clock or something, but that's from where you're standing, and yet there isn't actually any markers denoting time on this.
Okay.
At
So
least
not like
and
a
it's-
big X or a the
and
center
I'll
of a
say
circle or
again,
whatever.
I'll say again, you guys are way up above this thing. You're sort of looking down, seeing it from quite a distance. To determine a lot of these things, you would need to be getting right up to it and perhaps counting the markers on the floor and such.
Okay.
I could completely drain or try to completely drain it if you want.
No, let's leave it for now. We don't want to interfere with it. It's just interesting to notice there.
It's whatever it is that it does, it is important for something. It must be. I just don't know why.
I'm just thinking back to what the goat said.
Which part?
The goat?
The
magical
first
goats?
the first of them.
The goats that were goblins?
No, not those ones. The weird future telling, talking in riddles goats.
Oh.
I think you may have been Hellier at the time.
Huh. What did they say?
Well, I sort of looked at Xaxx to establish the psychic connection.
I established the psychic connection.
Well, the main one that the two that immediately come to mind that are probably useful is when the moon obstructs the sun, creeping limb will be undone. And the fool's scepter is the key. And currently, there are two that I could see as the fool, which is Stage Fright and Zolt, because Zolt seems to have like a jester hat on, and has a stick, but Stage Fright has an actual like jester scepter, and I'm wondering if I don't know what that is to it, but the other one is play to her passion, stay on scripts, a cat, a horn, or a shadow ripped. No idea what that means, other than, stay on script, I guess, because you don't want to piss her off.
But we have a... Oh, I'm not in this conversation. Never mind.
We do have a cat. We do know someone who's had their shadow ripped. Two people, in fact.
And doesn't one of the actors have a horn for his ear?
That's true. Didn't think of that. Hearing horn.
So something to do with stuffing a cat into a horn to pull away someone's shadow.
Maybe. Honestly, that one's the most cryptic. Like, the others I can at least see how they might be done. For example, I'm wondering if possibly we might be able to get someone down there and force the orrery into the position we want, where the sun obstructs the moon, or the moon obstructs the sun.
However, I don't think Nox would be happy if I stuffed Gloam into an ear horn.
Probably not, but... God, this guy's taking a while.
The doors open wide. Almost
taking
as soon as you
forever.
say I see you're admiring the array of tragedies, master
Yes.
craft of
I was just
wonder and
I was
magic.
just trying to work out how it works.
Oh, don't worry, your little brains, it's far too complex for us. Only a hag of great ancient knowledge knows how to use that.
Ah, fair enough.
No.
Looks like it might be running out of power.
Moongrave will see you
Wow.
now.
Ah,
And
excellent.
he takes a bow and gestures forward with his staff.
I'm not actually sure where
Please,
I am on the map.
hand your weapons to these fine gentlemen. And I'll pause you before you do go in. There are several darklings that are standing post, and they have their hands out, gesturing for you to hand over your weapons. So
Right.
quarterstaff.
This is gonna take me a while. Right. Quarterstaff, spear,
Dagger.
scimitar, quarterstaff, dagger, 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 dart, 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 dart. Wait, I've got another dagger in my socks. There we go. I think that's everything.
The darklings look to you, Solomon, and gesture.
Yeah, okay. Wouldn't it be that Moongrave has seen us now, though? Because she's from the future and all that. And as I'm handing like my quarterstaff, sling, skinning knife, club, and
She already knows you won't attack her, but this is simply for our own reassurance.
no, I meant like in terms of tents.
Don't just give. Look, I'm here to do my job. Just give
Quest
me your weapons and magical arcane focus.
magical. Wait, do I have a magical arcane focus?
That thing by your belt, is that a component pouch?
Oh yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Do I have a
All
component
right.
pouch?
We'll look after this for you. Yes, if you use a component pouch or an arcane focus, they ask for that before you head on in. But the only thing they don't take is like armor.
Yeah, I have a druidic focus. Never mind.
Okay. They politely ask you for that. And Clapperclaw is even Clapperclaw's hands are taken off of him. Like, hey, I want those back. Yeah, all right. And Xaxx, do you hand over your arcane
I
focus?
hand over my sling, my +1 dagger, and my old emblem, not the new one, if I can try to hide it.
Okay, you can try to hide it. You can give me either sleight of hand or a deception if you're telling them that is the actual
Well,
focus.
I'm handing over a focus.
Ah, you're handing, yes. Okay, I'll say with advantage then. Just give me a sleight of hand instead, because they are looking you up and down anyway.
It's the same for both of them. Oh, that was almost a
Okay.
natural 20. And then
So 17.
yes, 17.
They do check you over, and they look back at the arcane focus, look back at you, and then kind of nod, and then gesture for you to go in.
Thank you.
And Tanwen, your arrows are taken, but not your bow. So Pig's lollipop is taken off of them. Hey! Like, do you want to stay out here, little girl? You can. That's the only deal you're making, though. She sort of pouts. Fine, and she hands it over.
But none
right.
of you are to take a bite out of it. I've seen what that lollipop looks like. I'm keeping my eyes on you. And they're right.
Are you kidding? Why would I take a bite? She looks undead. That's probably got some diseases on it.
Yeah. It looks tasty, is all I'm saying.
I don't like sweet things.
Well, you do. That explains who you work for.
The voice is
Okay.
killing me on this one.
You stage fright takes a bow and says, Endelyn Moongrave, your guests have arrived. And he takes a bow and backs away. And I'll describe the room before you. It is this castle little turret has a 40-foot high balcony, kind of overlooking Motherhorn's amphitheater, and that's the opposite side. This this is the room you want. All right. Bottles filled with lightning line wooden bookcases along the walls of this chamber, and the opposite side of the room is filled with, there seems to be like paper, like bits of paper just everywhere, littered all over the floor. It's bizarre. It looks like a mess in here, in fact. And that's not the only weird, ominous thing in here. There are scores of wooden marionettes hanging from the ceiling.
Do any of them look like
Oddly,
us?
yeah, there's so many. It's that at a glance you're not seeing any that look like you, but you could imagine there probably is some in amongst this. There are so many. It's they number in the dozens. But as you look down at the pieces of paper, if anyone curious enough, you can see that there's clearly stage directions and script on the paper. So yeah, they're probably like old discarded play scripts. Near the entrance are two alcoves to your left and right, and you can see some sort of like bare table on one, and the other is holding like a little wooden chest with clawed feet, tiny little clawed feet. Deeper into the room, you see there is a wicker basket surrounded by miniature toy birds. And I just remembered, Rodolfo, you still have two birds with you somewhere on your person.
Do I? I
Yeah,
don't
the
remember.
mechanical ones from thither.
Oh, good lord. That's a while
Yeah.
back. Yeah, okay, sure.
Uh,
Yes, we stole them from that witch's room, the personal room. Okay.
that you do.
Thank you for reminding me. I'd forgotten about that.
There are scores of hourglasses fixed to the wall. And whenever the sand in an hourglass runs out, the mechanism that attached the hourglass to the wall causes it to flip over. And there is a steady hiss of all those falling grains of sand that can just be heard throughout the entire room. Finally, a large glass-doored wardrobe with a jade eye embedded in its cornice stands at the far end of the room in a wide alcove. And it is there where Endelyn Moongrave seems to be staring at you through the reflection of this mirror. And I've got to show you the art for this room because, my god, it's one of the best pieces of art in the whole module. If I can find the actual name of it. Well, 1 second, guys.
No problem. I'm just preparing in my head what I'm going to say.
Yeah, sure. She's sort of waiting for you to move your tokens in anyway. So that's the thing.
I'm here. I'll just stay at the entrance of the room.
I know where I am.
I'll.
I'm in the
Room.
room.
Okay, got it. Here we go. Ta-da!
Ooh. Oh,
Ooh. Creepy.
Okay.
cool and creepy all at once.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. If Samantha was here, this would be creeping her the hell out. All these marionettes just strung up by their shoulders, all their dead-looking eyes just staring down. As you enter into the room, some of you inevitably accidentally knock into them. A rattling is heard as like wind chimes, and their lifeless bodies sort of swing like corpses dangling from a tree. As for Endelyn herself,
Yeah, at the moment,
yeah,
at the moment, just looking at the token, I can't tell if that's actually her face or if that's like the back of a cloak that just looks really creepy.
That's a face. That's a skull.
it is a skull. Endelyn is emaciated form is just barely visible, hidden under the layers of her elaborate costume. Part dress, part mechanical theater. The outfit makes her look frighteningly tall. She's quite haunched, and you can see withered, just like fairly withered appendages underneath the veil and dress. And she is shrouded with wrinkled features behind this gauzy theater curtain veil. And the outermost layers of her dress seem to open up. And as she turns, you see that it reveals a marionette theater inside the dress itself, which she's manipulating with puppet strings using an arrangement of artificial hands that are just nestled in the folds of the fabric. And I'll show you the image of Moongrave. She is something else. Here she is.
Ooh.
Ooh. That's
hope-
cool.
It's a really cool design. Creepy as
That's a
hell,
really
but
cool
a cool
design.
design.
Wow.
I can't wait to kill her.
If she's
Rodolfo
a,
cannot tear his eyes away from the hands manipulating the strings.
if she's emaciated, maybe she's hungry for a potato.
Uh,
Now, as you enter
Xaxx is
in,
trying to avoid eye contact as much as possible, but trying to look for it in the shadows for obscurity.
okay, yeah, seemingly there's a lot of shadows
know-
in here.
I know she's around somewhere. I'm just
Mhm.
very wary and don't want to draw attention to myself
Yep.
as much as possible.
Let you roll me another perception check, Xaxx. Though it's obvious Endelyn Moongrave is staring. Oh,
Oh,
yeah. Unfortunately, it's best you're trying to avoid eye contact. You swear you catch just perhaps a glimpse of shadow movement inside the the glass mirror at the back, the kind of wardrobe, the glass doored wardrobe. As you catch the shadow, it sort of disappears, and you're left staring directly into the sunken eye sockets of Endelyn Moongrave, and you feel a chill run down your spine as she begins to turn at that moment. Her dress flexes and contorts almost like a spider's legs as she rotates around and looms over the rest of the party. The Darklings have closed the door behind you as well. They just stand in your presence.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll be looking specifically towards the mirror just to see if there's anything of an autumn effect.
You can also roll a perception check.
Just because knowing what I'd have been told about how Helia was saved.
Yeah.
we're missing a token, or am I just?
Oh,
I don't think I'm here.
Is that nat 20?
that's a nat 20.
Oh, wow. Okay. unlike Xaxx, who feels as though Moongrave's presence demands attention, you, on the other hand, can't bear the sight of her. She's pretty hideous to behold, and you trying to do everything but look at her. Now, around the room there are a number of different containers, chests, cupboards, that kind of thing.
Oh, I'm
And-
focused on the mirror.
You are focused on the mirror, but there doesn't seem to be any kind of autumny feel to it.
Oh no.
Instead, you perhaps catch a scent in the air.
Oh.
And it's not just a scent, but perhaps as you walk over the number of play scripts here, a couple of them crunch and crinkle like bits of dry paper. And it just kind of brings that sound to your ears, that instantly recognizable crunch of like leaves.
Ooh.
And it's at that thought is when you catch underneath some of these slips of paper, there does actually happen to be a decayed and completely dead leaf. It's just crunched underneath some of these papers,
Oh,
sort of scattered around this section here.
he's here.
Yeah.
I suppose.
There's that smell in the air, kind of just a slight autumnal, like earthy smell, but it goes as quickly as you catch a whiff of it as Enderlin's form turns around, and instead you smell this kind of decayed, like putrid smell, like literally death, but it is heavily coated in a sort of perfumed scent. Like it's like someone's trying to mask a dead body in the room with like an air freshener or a perfume. And as much as you can smell the two mingling together, it does a very poor job of disguising the scent.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Ooh,
And
ooh, ooh.
finally, she turns to you, and you see her jaw kind of go slack to one side, and a voice echoes out. It is raspy, like a almost like the dried parchment on the floor. It sounds like her lungs have turned to just this paper thin, hollow husk. And she says, "You got my invitation.
That
Welcome."
we did. We've been advised by your compatriot stage fright to refer to you as Creeping Lynn. Is that correct?
Creeping Lynn will do fine.
Excellent. You may refer to me as...
I know who you are.
Yes, but, I might have a preference of name that I prefer to go by. I was just going to say call me Tarquin, keep it simple. Alright, so you've invited us here. I'm guessing you've invited us here for a reason, so shall we skip the pleasantries and get right to it?
Yes. I knew you would come.
No? You've got an
And I know
orrery.
what you're trying to do.
Ah, excellent.
I know all about your little plan.
Cool.
And I'm afraid that is not a course the future can take.
Well, if that's what you think, I'll let you think it. I mean, I always like to think that the future can be whatever you make it, but I realize that is not your methodology, otherwise you wouldn't be looking into it so often, right? But speaking of futures and the way futures are taking, by the looks of here, you're looking to have a play put on that dazzles you or surprises you in some way. Something truly great, right? I'm guessing these are scripts that have been tried to write but have been rejected.
Something that I have not seen before, perhaps. Yes.
A difficulty when you've seen the future. But I suppose when you
But-
see the future, you're not looking for what the next play is going to be.
Many have tried to impress, and many have failed. Your little army of Corrids, whilst you may think is impressive, will ultimately end in tragedy.
Well, they knew the risks, and if things end in tragedy, that is how they were going to end. But I would say that to die valiantly in battle is better than to stand and just wait for things to rot.
We can avoid a battle altogether. You wish to spare their lives?
Of course, I would
Then-
rather see no one come to an end.
I mean, that's why I sent up the peace offering.
Peace. If peace is what you seek, then we can bargain.
It always
Did you-
comes down to bargains, doesn't it?
Did you get the peace offering?
She gestures towards the potato sack, which, yes, it's sitting on where the blank table was. It's now sitting on there, yeah. Probably stage fight sat it down as you entered into the room. He like double backed on himself and popped it down just here.
So, we of
It
course
doesn't look like she's opened it yet.
we of course want peace, but we also want those who live within the realms of Yon to be able to live their lives without interference from yourself. From what I understand, the Corrids have had their hair shaven to use in your contraptions, and they don't particularly want that, and they live in fear, which they don't want to do. So, what arrangement can we come to that doesn't have to involve an end on either part?
Well, you wish for peace in Yon.
I wish for peace
I
in all
will-
but Prismere.
I am afraid that I only oversee Yon. The sisters of my hourglass coven are responsible for each shard, as it were. I can only speak for Yon.
That is fair. Just before we go into anything, I realise if you don't want to tell me, you don't have to. You've mentioned hourglasses. You've got loads of them on the walls, turning by themselves, seemingly. What's that all about? I'm just curious. If you don't want to tell me, that's fine. I'm just thought I'd ask the question straight out.
Well, time is one of our fortes. A type of magic that goes far back to our original tutor.
Ah, who was that?
She looks back over towards the glass mirror, and one of her artificial hands twitches and shudders like a marionette doll coming to life, and an image begins to appear on the mirror. The image is one that Rodolfo recognizes from the room with the paintings in Thither, in Loomlurch. Now, this is the more ancient, elderly-looking hag where her hair was sort of almost fully greyed and whited out. The hair was like done back in two, I don't know how to describe it, but they were almost like spikes of hair that kind of come back, but they're all like interwoven and laced together. Her face is far more wrinkled, such that it almost looks like gnarled bark, and her eyes look way more ancient than even the oldest of dragons. There's something about her appearance in this mirror that feels even more real than just a painting. The painting was simply just sort of a depiction. This is almost like an illusion, and she's staring right back at the group, and it almost feels like a long dark claw is running down your spine. Your mouth dries to the point where it feels like you're chewing on sawdust, and it feels like there's a twitching, almost like maggots underneath your eyelids. And for just the briefest of moments when that image is shown, you know whoever this is possibly the hag of hags, the mother of witches, the mother of bones. And it's almost those voices that come to your mind as well for those who are psychically inclined. And her raspy voice echoes out. Well, the mother of bones, of course. Baba Yaga is the mother of all hags.
Right. Okay. That's good to know. It was something I didn't know before. Do we have to meet her at some point, or is that like if we wanted to free all of Prismir, do we have to somehow deal with her, or is that just you three?
She is in another time. As she says that, you see all the hourglasses simultaneously shift over and begin turning.
Wow.
Another space. And as she says that, the image ripples away, and you see the image of a dancing hut on chicken legs. It twirls around before disappearing in the mirror.
Now, that, I have to say, you have great sense of timing. I can see why you like the theatre so much. I mean, you managed to time that. I don't know if that was you making them turn, or if you just timed that perfectly to when they turn because you predicted everything, but it was great.
Either she does have perfect timing, or just the very image of Baba Yaga slowed time down to a crawl to the point where the hourglasses were simply waiting to turn. It's
either way, Tarquin is complimenting them, trying to get on their good side to some extent.
Yeah. He does seem to be in a bargaining mood, and that much is evident.
So
she turns to you and says, "So, yes, for peace in yon.
Yeah.
For me to leave the Briganox alone. Leave the Corrids to their mountains. I ask of a few things."
Can I just add a couple of extra things to that list of you've got a bugbear working for you. I'd like to take him with me. His name's Burley. Kind of promised his brother to bring him back.
I will part with one creature or object in my possession, but only if one shadow is given in exchange.
Right. Okay.
What about the shadow you took from me?
That shadow rightly belongs to me.
What about the other
Why?
piece of me that is actually a part of me that you took?
Hold on, we'll start with Xaxx because you asked why, and she turns to you and wheels around. The kind of waft of undeath fills your nostrils. Did not witch and light not explain the deal? You entered the carnival without tickets. You broke the rules. Payment was due.
So you took my shadow and you took my memories? That's two things.
Your shadow is your past. It is always behind you. It is your memories. You just didn't see it yet. Not until you arrived here in Yon. The nature of your curse. As I'm sure others have experienced. Changes when approaching our layers.
Right. Okay.
Now,
Right. So you said you wanted a few things in exchange for peace.
yes. She extends a gnarled, chittering finger towards Nox, or rather Solomon. Here you go. Return. Return them.
What?
You have my cat.
No. It was given to me.
Stolen. Stolen from me.
Well, you stole the other part of me.
You broke the rules of the Witchlight Carnival.
Well,
Take it up with Mr. Witch.
Well, it looks like you should take it up with Bavlana, who took your cat, because she gave it to me. If that's how you want to play it.
You can hear this kind of raspy intake of air that escapes from somewhere underneath her dress.
From what
It
I know, you
flutters
like
the papers on the floor.
Also, I'd like to add, in the case of Solomon here, you took your three sisters took two things from them, two sides of them. Whilst with Xaxx, I can see a sort of argument for, shadows representing the past, so you took the memories via taking the shadow. Why do you need why'd you take two from them?
Solomon was a passenger. They experienced the same. They are one and the same.
Alright.
So
Where you go, she goes.
I mean, that's true. But so are you gonna give me my other half back? My other quarter? I don't know how this works.
Still divided. Perhaps
I mean, I could offer
a
you the cat.
trade then. You will pass me Gloam, and I will pass you your winter, your autumn, I believe.
I don't know what he is at this point. I haven't actually met him yet.
I mean, that at least seems like a fair bargain in this case. Though, if I may ask, why are you so keen to get back Gloam? Could you not make another?
She looks towards you, and her head kind of tilts to one side, clicking as it does, as if the joints of her spine are held together with wooden joint marionette parts. There is no other cat like Gloam.
Is they're not alive, but are alive?
Just want her back,
I mean,
regardless of whether she is alive or not.
that's your choice, Solomon. At this point, I'm not going to make that decision for you.
I mean, Nox is probably going to be a bit angry, but it's a part of us. So there's going to be some sacrifices. That's what we said, didn't we?
Just
Gloam,
be careful of making any deals. I don't There's always a hidden clause
Okay.
with
Well,
these ones.
how do I know you have? Well, I know he's here, but how do I know where he is and if you're gonna give him me?
Gloam is also pouring at the inside of your cloak, perhaps, at this point. Just hear a soft coughing meow. It's
In what regards, like wanting to go back or wanting to?
no, like pouring at your chest as this, almost like, don't give me up, almost. Gloam doesn't want to leave. They've clearly formed a bond with Nox, and they try. You can tell now why they're clawing at you. They're trying to reach up, perhaps towards Helia's mask, or the moon mask that you also got. She seems to be just pouring at those, and yeah.
I look to everyone like, what do I do?
Other than
I
Gloam, is there anything you would be willing to trade for Autumn?
Yes, but I was waiting to sort of offer this in exchange for peace. And that is what you hold, one of you. She seems to click her head from side to side, and it seems almost as if the marionette on top of her stage dress seemed to like be searching and looking out over yonder towards one of you. Which one of you has the unicorn horn?
Is it in the portable hole? I don't.
I'm pretty sure it's in the portable hole.
Which also makes sense as to why she's not quite clear who has it. Whereas before, she pointed out immediately Nox and knew who had Gloam. She seems to be unable to perceive where the horn is, just knows that you
Yeah.
have it.
Tarquin sort of tilts his head and is just like, I'm gonna have to sort of put this at the right point. Are you sure you're not getting us mixed up with a future version of us? Because we don't have a unicorn horn.
I could swear you have it. The words have crossed your lips.
I mean, we've been discussing how to get one, but
So can I have my other half back then? Like,
if you want to trade the cat for it, that's up to you, Solomon. I'm sure Nox will understand.
how are we going to get Xaxx's shadow back?
That we'll have to discuss next.
That we need to find my shadow.
yeah. So
All right.
I'll be
If
holding
you're
on.
that desperate for your shadow,
Oh.
perhaps you can make a performance.
What kind of a performance?
Okay.
Reenacting a play, of course.
Oh god.
Like the tragedy of Twilight?
He looks towards you as if impressed that you've already recognized the title. Yes. Or a new play. Whatever you desire. Just make it worthy to trade for your shadow.
Well,
If I do a play that's good enough, if we do a play that's good enough, you'll give me my shadow back.
She nods, clicking as she does. And you see the two marionettes form into almost like a pattern of one mimicking the other, like their shadow.
And in terms, you obviously know a lot about us. As you've said, you've seen the words pass our lips and things like that. Are you aware of all of our journeys through Prismir, or just our journey through Yon?
She doesn't answer that.
Reason I ask is we could potentially put a performance on of some of our adventures, but if you've already seen them, then, you know, that kind of, you'd know the ending, and that kind of ruins it, right?
She remains silent. She's clearly keeping her cards close to her chest.
No?
And you kind of figure the more the more you know about how the nature of her divination, the more you're likely to use it against her, which she's likely already foreseen.
I mean,
so he says
I've
nothing.
already helped potentially fix one of your plays today. I'm sure I can write a new one.
There is one last thing that you could offer.
Yeah.
Yes.
What would that
I
be?
will need a powerful creature's nightmares. One to replace the one you set free. And she directs the you towards Xaxx.
I smirk a little bit at that.
How powerful are we talking?
As powerful as a moonstone dragon.
Okay.
One with powerful enough torment that they could conjure a new storm.
This is going to be a
How could
particularly...
he with monster trappers?
This is going to be a particularly odd suggestion, but what if... I'm just going to make this as a suggestion. I'm not saying we'll do it. What if somehow we were able to capture a certain flying creature that bothers all of Prismir?
He leans forward and you see the underglow lighting the stage of her dress brighten, and you get close enough to almost see through her veil. That scourge must be under control. Give him to me. I will form a prison that he cannot escape.
And in exchange, would that be enough for peace?
I would have no need to torment Horrids or Briganox. Yon would know peace.
Yeah.
And my theater would know tragedy.
Well, before we make any bargains, we obviously want to discuss this between ourselves, and I realize, of course, you're probably going to see that discussion anyway with your future telling, but considering you seem to, you know, need...
That's why I was hoping to get back this session.
Then why don't we think on this, potentially put on a performance for you in exchange for Xaxx's shadow. No strings attached, as you say. If the performance isn't good enough, then we don't get the shadow back, but no punishment happens for us. Then we can think on some of the rest of your potential deals.
And wait, Sopig speaks up and says, "But wait, you're the judge on whether it's good enough? So wait, what if you just said it wasn't good, even though everyone else agrees it was really good?
That is
That
true.
doesn't seem like it. Just to me doesn't seem fair, and you could abuse that. Yeah,
That
that's
is
the word.
true. That is true. So I feel like it's gonna have to be a performance that is agreed upon by a popular vote rather than one decision from yourself. Otherwise, we have a very unfair advantage. You have a very unfair advantage on us.
An inside party, one who is not biased.
Exactly.
This can be arranged.
At the moment, it's kind of... I wonder, who would be a good outside party? Well, okay. We need to think on this. Is there like a room we can stay in or anything whilst we come up with ideas? I'll probably need some paper to start writing a script.
Stage fright. See our guests to their quarters. I have already readied a section in the castle for you.
Now that's where foretelling comes in handy. You always know when you're going to get guests so you can get the rooms ready. Or to get like the hose ready to send them away. See, that's a useful use of your abilities.
Stage fright nods. Right away, Creeping Lynn. Through the dressing room, yes? She nods. Oh, well then. If you're adjourning for the time being, would you like to follow me?
Yes, let's adjourn for now. Whilst we're in the room stage fright, do you happen to be able to get me a copy of each of the scripts that have been performed? Wait, just a sec. Forgot about Solomon's side of things. Solomon, are you making the deal?
Like I'm
You
thinking
wish to
about
make
it,
the deal?
but
Now.
you haven't shown me my other part.
That's true.
Like, I know he's here. I can smell him, but
Then you need no more proof. I know the way you think. Wish to see it, so you can steal it.
steal what? I don't need to steal anything if you give it to me.
And give me Gloam.
Okay. Give me my parts. And
She extends her hand out.
I extend my other hand out as I try and pull Gloam free with one hand.
Okay. Make me an animal handling check, and then we might have to wrap up on this. We'll see if if this trade concludes or not. We'll see.
I will
This...
guide myself to help.
Okay. You can. Well, can you guidance without your component pouch? No.
That's what I was wondering. I thought you cantrips
Can't
were stuff
cast
that you...
spells.
Oh, okay.
No.
I thought it was just
You still
spells.
need a focus.
Oh dear, I wasn't sure about that. Oh no.
Okay. Gloam digs in their claws into your clothing, and you feel like she is unwilling to move.
Come on, man.
She coughs up a whole furball of dust, and that dust ball explodes into the room, and it pretty much causes enough disturbance in your throats that you're coughing and sputtering, and it sort of clouds the room ever so slightly. but I've just seen the time, and I think here is actually kind of a good place to wrap it up. Ish, you're unable to make or complete this trade, and for the time being, but you can always attempt again. Come back after adjourning.
Yeah.
But for now, it might not be Solomon's decision to make.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
But this has been a good session. You guys have made it to Motherhorn, though precarious dealings with this hag don't seem to be going forward just yet. We'll see what's reasonable and what's not. Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll tune in next week to continue negotiations and perhaps have a fun little play to perform. I've got I've got some ideas to throw your way, but sounds like you've already got a lot your own, so it should be fun.
All right,
Yes,
we'll wrap up
negotiations.
there. Join us next week. Also join us Friday for, I think, the next part of Breathless. And we
Yeah.
shall see you then. Bye for now.
All right. See ya.